I'll put an announcement of, yo, we're live.
Hello. Anything exciting happening for you today besides class?
Hmm. For me, not really. I just had about 6 hours of class.
Damn, it's so weird that I don't have to go to class anymore because I graduated college and it's just weird now being in this transition now in my life.
Yeah, like I don't know exactly like how my life's gonna play out afterwards, right? Like, you kind of have a solid idea as
Yeah.
long as you're kind of in something, right? Like as soon as a job happens, I feel like
Yeah.
that'll like smooth that over. It'll suck, but it'll also just be like, hey, I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. How are your classes been so
Uh,
far?
it's hard to follow one math class just because like the teacher's just not good at online learning. Theory of computation is actually just it's pretty simple, but it's a lot of like logic kind of puzzles and stuff, and set theory and stuff like that. I'm enjoying that so far, just because it just intuitively makes sense. I'm
Nice.
continuously shocked by just why is mobile development so bad? Why can't they just streamline stuff good? Why do I have to specifically add the data binding and the view binding and the and then it doesn't actually create the code that switches from that, but it creates a magic reference. The fable is true, Seacat Whisper. Yeah, so I'm talking about theory of computation, which is one of the classes I've been taking. So anyway, welcome, Seacat Mosca. I think other people might come in, but I think it should be about time to start. You sure you can see everything, Jupiter?
Yeah. Yes,
All
I can see
right,
everything.
perfect. Okay,
A moment. I'm just pausing the stream on my end. Oh goodness gracious. All right.
so now it's time to just ignore everything that just happened one scene ago, a week ago, because that's a bit much.
Waterhouse 5 who? Am I right?
Do you think this is gonna be a stable time loop? Everything's deterministic. There is no choice. So it
So
goes,
it
I guess.
goes.
By the way, I really like that book. It's Kurt Vonnegut's best book, right?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it too. I think it's like a very I think it's a very kind of nuanced way of also tackling
Oh yeah,
PTSD and how it
definitely.
feels to dissociate and stuff. It does.
It's
It's
such a
good.
good
It's a
book.
good book. I love it. I've always wanted to do like my own fan cover of Slaughterhouse 5, but I was like, making art is hard, especially when you're trying to make and especially when you're trying to try to do the composition for like a scene, and it's like graphic design
Oh
is
yeah.
hard. All of the like elements of design and understanding like what makes appealing, like what makes something an appealing cover for like selling a product is hard. It's all
Yep,
hard.
everything's hard, and it's just
And I
people
don't
do
want
it a lot and a lot and again.
yeah. I don't want to think, I just want to art.
Okay, I just wrote a bunch of fan fiction as a kid, so you know, just complete hack stuff.
I mean, I feel you. I That was me when I with Metal Gear Solid 2. I wrote a weird AU. It was weird, and I was like in middle school, and thank goodness it's lost to the garbage bin because I don't want
I
that
had a
in my
couple of
internet
gems of ideas
history.
and couple like bits of really good writing, but I'm glad most of it's gone. I'm glad that it's just you know
Yep.
in the sea of the the
It's okay.
abyss.
I just salvaged my
Yeah. Anyway, I think we should actually start reading this before we talk more about. Unless you do want to talk
yes.
about more fan fiction.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, on the right side, I just salvaged all my Metal Gear Solid fanfic ideas and OCs for my A Switch game. So yeah. One of the characters is literally just a blend. I put in some Homestuck. You put in a tad bit of Harry Potter. You
But
put in
why
some
would you
Metal
put
Gear
in the Harry
Solid
Potter? Is
OCs. You
there
put
even
in some of the
anything good in Harry Potter? I don't think so.
No, it's only one name. It's only a
All I'm
name
just saying
reference,
is,
really.
anytime you say, talk about Harry Potter, you could instead be talking about Animorphs.
Oh god, that is true.
Anyway,
It's a quote unquote Harry Potter reference, but it's more, if anything, a reference to Daniel Radcliffe, which is better.
okay,
Daniel
he's
Radcliffe's
okay,
better
okay.
swing. So it's not even a Harry Potter reference, it's just a reference to Daniel Radcliffe.
Okay, Percy Jackson's also decent,
There's
and
my loop there.
Blindsight and Echopraxia are really good books, and I want to do my reread of them when I have some time. Anyway,
Yes. Sorry for
no, this is
going on a
great.
weird
This
tangent
is
about
this is
fan
this
fiction.
is peak streamer content. Though we
Indeed. Now you know my sins. If anyone, if my game gets out and someone guesses which character out of all these components that I've mushed and
honestly,
blended into
I'm
this
gonna guess
character
right
of Ace,
away.
which
One of your dads is Solid Snake. The other dad is Otacon for that one character. Damn it!
no, haha,
Defeated body.
it'll when it comes out, maybe you'll fit. I think I hope it's not super obvious which character it is, but if anyone figures it out first,
Okay,
I'll give them a
so
cookie.
this is your line.
Oh yes, the beginning of the end. You're behind the times. It's the opposite. Here's how it should go. Once it begun, it already
Oh,
has
or we're
ended.
already getting to that determinism.
We're already getting to the big brain, like
Big
thinking,
thunk.
like, nah,
The
this is
the
yeah,
from the
this is the
enlightened
real
centrist.
take.
Oh
Yeah, the
god.
enlightened centrist. Oh god, now I'm thinking of that one meme, but it's with Tojiro, who's just like does a kickflip. He's like, "Rise up, centrist! It's time to defend the status quo."
In the end, what it comes down to is that those old politicians weren't prepared. They weren't prepared to do what's necessary to protect our country's people and our resources. Were it not for the bold military action taken on the Glass Sea, the COU would have already illegally occupied the whole thing by now. Just imagining how this feeble administration would have handled it gives me nightmares. Simply put, all that talk about not provoking other countries, since they'll drive them into military frenzy, was just an illusion created by old politicians. Isn't that right? The administration's always saying these things, taking part in appeasement and calling themselves pacifists, while making concession after concession. EU Japan firmly paid off that growing debt for them. It was a brilliant decision and one that wouldn't leave a bill for later generations. EU Japan's decision to use military force to send a firm note to COU Japan's illegal occupation of the demilitarized zone is being praised as a wise move, even by other nations in the AOU. Instead of putting our diplomatic problems and leaving them to plague the next generation, I'd prefer to resolve them during ours. I've had enough time off. I had enough of putting off issues and letting them worsen.
Wait, I
Okay,
want to
do
do
it.
the
You'll,
old
you'll do a
man
better job.
voice.
I'm bad at voices.
Instead of putting off our diplomatic problems and leaving them to plague the next generation, I would prefer to resolve them during ours. I have had enough of putting off issues and letting them worsen, supposedly in the name of pacifism.
Maybe we should cut off some heads. I'm just saying.
Maybe we gotta commit some more crimes.
It's seriously cool. Totally radical. I wish we could replace the cowards in our government with those guys. I support AOU Japan. The Japanese government rocks. Huh? Where? Where's Japan? One sec. I'll look it up with Kiripoyo.
Oh my goodness.
Follow the AOU Japan's example. Long live the Gauntlet Knights. Take back the territory that belongs to us. The seas, the mines, the fishing spots. Alter those unfair treaties.
Oh no, it's the fascism.
Yes, but also, like, the same logic, it can also be justified considering, hey, colonialism. Think about what Canada did to the Mi'kmaq and their fishing territories and their whatnots and everything, right?
Oh God. Yeah. It's almost like the society that didn't allow for reparations to happen would happen to bite them in the butt in the future or
It's
something.
it's like oftentimes it's not like you can't just say an idea as a whole like violence like itself is like bad as long because as long as other people are committing violence against you, you can't just be like nah, right?
Yeah. Most Marxist fascism always has a rhetoric you could easily confuse with
Yep,
anti-imperialism.
because it's the same kind of
Yeah.
sentiments being drilled up, right? Uh,
Yeah.
Make them renegotiate them, get them to see it our way. If that doesn't work, use military force. Follow AOU Japan. We're prepared to stop these issues from burdening our children's generation. Just think of the children. We gotta make a better world for our children by killing their children.
Think of the children as we send out our child soldiers. Really,
It's good for our
fucking
children. It
irate
builds
at all.
character. You know. Back when I was their
Yeah.
age, back when I was younger than them, I was also shooting people.
Back my time, I was 18 and I was sent in the army. What? They're
What?
sick? What? Wait, you're saying those kids are 14?
They're getting early on the job experience. Hello, Evie.
Yeah.
Here. Nice to see that you're here joining our weekly dystopia. Different
Yep.
from the rest of the week dystopia. Get all those cowards in cabinet to resign. Protest against the opportunists in Congress who are helping our enemies. Kick them out. Arrest them. Okay,
I'll
do it.
be the press secretary. This policy of preemptive strikes for the sake of peace is hardly a paper tiger. If the AU intends to increase military tensions, we are prepared to bring our sword of justice down upon them at any time, even tonight if need be. The militaries of all COU nations are now mobilizing for an indefinite period. We will not permit another preemptive strike against our country and its allies.
Many view these statements skeptically, writing them off as mere saber rattling. Even after this sort of peace talk, the AOU is showing no signs of ceasing the military escalation. Does this mean that the COU government has been completely unable to hide their lack of resolve, both internally and externally? You know, it's all just talk. If you're serious about this, strike back already. It's the cowardice of the COU Japan that makes everyone underestimate all the COU. If you really are a patriot, join the protest in front of the embassy building. We'll hit them with our anger and with our stones. The police are on our side. Huh. Does this remind you of anything?
Oh no. I was literally going to say, let's occupy Congress. And I was like, oh my God.
They'll look the other way.
Sea Cat Whisper
Oh
says
no.
vandalism. Oh
Property.
no.
It
Don't, but Sea Cat Whisper, don't you understand from all those like libertarian, like very like property only that it's a crime against humanity to damage someone else's property,
also
private
property's
property.
worth more
Don't you
than
know?
humans. I'm just saying. The game has already shown that. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Koshka, look at Lilia. You know,
Their commander can't be physically abusive
because
to
they're
them.
property and not a human being. Like God intended. Good news, everyone! All those traitor zealots in the assembly were arrested on bribery charges. We're finally going to get an administration that the whole COU can unite behind. Now is our chance to strike back. We won't be defeated again because of poor planning. Punish the ghosts of the B3W era hegemony. We have Baibao Squad, the invincible Gotham Knights who achieved complete victory during the Kashmir Spiritfield strike. Long live our homeland. Long live the COU. The Central Ocean is the center of A3W's new world. It's the source of this world's most vigorous culture. Fight back against the hegemony of those pre-war ghosts who refuse to accept this basic fact.
Well, it does make sense. The COU can't afford to take it lying down.
The 3 members of Meow's War Cats and the 3 members of Lingji's Baibao squad had gathered in the public bath. Meow's group was from the AOU. Lingji's was from the COU. Everyone had been hurt by how tensions between the two factions had been dramatically risen during the past few days. We might be given an order to attack before long. But of course, this time as well, we'll make sure that there's absolutely no unnecessary damage to anything other than our targets. So have no fears on that score.
However, it isn't as though they'll declare the match a draw and leave it at that. Even so, we can buy time. If public opinion dies down just a bit, well, this is still limited to a soldier supporting the walls of peace.
Still, those AOU big shots are taking people on the internet way too seriously. Spend less time sucking up voters and worrying about living conditions and peace, okay?
Jaden's here for the people.
Ally Jaden. Truly unproblematic.
He knows his real praxis.
Oh, it's the same in the COU.
I'm not okay. Now I just realized he's wearing like a leather jacket midriff, and now
his outfit's fantastic. What a hunk of a man, this like 14-year-old. It's the same as COU. Once you become a government official and the competition's even more fierce, you can't afford to be seen as a coward. And the people will never forgive a government that doesn't strike back when they're struck. Our job is to continue supporting the walls of peace until all those people can cool their heads. Though it will be a long and difficult task.
That's fine. It's our mission, after all. We'll support those walls as long as it takes.
Yeah. As long as we're here, we won't let anyone break those walls down.
Still, hasn't it been getting a bit creepy lately? The way our public opinion is getting stupidly overheated.
Isn't it normal for irresponsible people in all countries to get easily fired up and easily cool down?
As we enter December, the winds are blowing in an ominous direction. And though Christmas is approaching, there's an eerie heat about, as if we stand on the eve of World War. God, if World War like 4 starts on Christmas, that's a wild. That's gonna be wild. I know, right? Public opinion really has been eaten up much more than makes sense, right? Can public opinion really switch from one piece to war that fast?
It really is strange. Like someone said earlier, are we sure this isn't because of people scheming behind the scenes, looking to make a quick buck? I imagine that such a large-scale manipulation of public opinion would cost more than they'd be likely to rake in. Yeah, there's nothing particularly surprising about this, even if public opinion is tilted towards war in just a month and a half. Do you know about the Sarajevo incident, which was the trigger for World War I?
Let me peel it. It was the time when the Austrian Archduke was assassinated in Sarajevo on June 28, 1940.
See, I would correct you, but I don't remember hearing that
that
word in a long time. Like the last time I think I've heard the word was in history class. So Sarajevo was what I'm saying.
I've never even heard of the place. All I knew was
Yep.
that Franz Ferdinand was
That's where he was assassinated.
and I'm just gonna assume in character that meow was just stuttering from that word.
The nice option select, covering all bases.
Yep.
World War I started exactly 1 month later, on July 28. Of course, the groundwork had been laid in various ways even before the assassination. But even so, the seed of war sprouted, and just a month later, the First World War in human recorded history began. Thinking about it that way, we're now in the A3W era, where information networks have advanced so much further. If it took 1 month when they didn't even have an internet, don't you think it might easily happen even faster in our era? Ryukishi always does his homework to a distressing degree.
Yeah. Yeah, because also, like, it was a contributing factor for World One was, like, the growing military expansion of Britain and a bunch of other countries, so it's like, yeah. And then people are like, oh, this is gonna be over real soon, and then trench warfare happened, and they're like, oh shit, we didn't expect this to actually take very long. But it's okay. If it's gonna be like World One, that means people are just gonna get sick of it and stop eventually.
Oh.
Right? What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, that's totally what happened. And they
forever.
totally didn't create the conditions that led to World War II and a bunch of other conflicts. And the League of Nations was totally great.
I know,
and the UN has
right?
taken over for the League of Nations perfectly great.
Right?
Our foundation is not rotten.
Right?
And by the way, as I horribly talk about our horribly rotten foundation, that's the exact same rhetoric that's being used by the Three Kings, who are horrible, like giga eco-fag,
or like
no, because it's like for every aspect of society.
Sea Cat Whisper, yeah, good luck catching all the clues and references.
Remember when I pointed out that number and how that number for that object's a date? That's a very simple thing that's in a lot of games and stuff, but right? That's the stuff that's out in the open.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real, I haven't seen much Umineko. I'm not up to date with the Umineko stuff, so it's probably gonna a lot of the stuff's gonna fly over my head, and it's been a while since last touch.
I've been avoiding talking about any of the Umineko stuff other than just pointing at two things and screaming to the chat about how they're driving me crazy. Which I can just do right again, because are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
That's a cute little cat with a
scythe. Oh yeah, the cat's super cute. It. But are you kidding me? Are you
I also love Grave Mole's insignia. I think I like War Cat and Grave Mole. They have really cute insignias. Props to the insignia designs. Oh, yeah. They're lovely.
By the way, just keep a note of whenever certainty or miracles show up in the text. You know.
Oh God.
Yep. No one was able to speak. They knew without pausing to reflect that humans were animals, capable of giving in to urges, instantly going into a frenzy, and sometimes saying things they didn't really mean. Even passionate lovers could sometimes rapidly turn to hatred because of silly misunderstandings. And sometimes when something unforgivable is done, it could have immediate, irreversible, and fatal results. 34, God.
You know what's more funny than 34? 35.
Glad you don't understand it, even though you're caught up on your Higarashis. For individual humans, this could be laughed off. However, when it's an issue between countries, that's no joke.
But it still might be.
What do you mean?
As long as no one dies, it's still possible to laugh it off.
Imagine Mosca not having read Hodorobi Rose Gun Days. Now I'm blanking on how to say the name of the school bullying terrible one. I'm blanking on the name right now. I've read both of those as well. Higanbana no Sakuyoroni. Yeah. Imagine. Couldn't be me. I'm just built different.
Moscow Poker says, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, so
Me neither.
also
Moscow
EY
Poker.
Hime is out, which, by the way, I'm actually not caught up on, so no spoilers for EY Hime. True. In the 8-3W world, where human rights are prized, any death would prove fatal to the overall situation. In particular, in the COU, where their children are still carried by Ciconia, public opinion would rapidly explode. The weirdest part about Higginbana is like the first one is easily the hardest. The first episode's easily the hardest one to stomach. Rose Gun Days is a fun ride though. We might get to one of those after the House and Fata Morgana, because that's the one I plan after this if you're still down, and this story does not crush your spirit.
Sure. I love me spider lilies. They're very lovely.
Oh, not
flowers.
Higginbana. I was saying the House and Fata Morgana. Higginbana is a one after that, maybe. No, that... Or whichever one we decide. I don't know. Maybe Ciconia Phase 2 will be out then.
Mm-hmm. Imagine the Ciconia free AOU trying to tell others how precious human life
Enough
is.
of that. You shouldn't criticize the structure and religion of other people's countries, right? I agree with Meow. There must not be any casualties, and certainly not among non-combatants.
As guardians of the Wall of Peace, we're prepared for death. However, we mustn't let that happen to civilians.
In our previous operations, we managed not to hurt anyone. Hey, we shouldn't kill each other. I mean, we are prepared for death, though. But no civilian deaths. No.
Moscow Blanca says we're better than this. No, we aren't. Okay, fair, but...
Well, we have to try to be better than we are. However, we don't know what the situation will be going forward, nor do we know what sort of strategies we'll be ordered to take. We'll do it. We'll follow the orders to a T, but we won't let anyone get hurt. Of course, we intend to do the same. Let us bear the brunt of the people's wrath for both our factions. That's our fate as ones who have been granted the ability to wear gauntlets, the strongest form of military power in the world. At this rate, I wish they'd just settle military conflicts in the Verde Arena. Good point. Originally, that was supposed to be the Battle Standards Festival's purpose.
What if we just simulate war through e-games?
abuse your children because they're not landing their 6 skill shots.
Yep. Hey, isn't there anyone else we can do? Or
is there? What do you mean?
We can pluck the sprouts of war, buying time until the war regains its
That's
calm.
your job as Guardians of the Walls of Peace, right?
But is buying time all we can do? Isn't there a way for us to cool the heads of those people who think war is like a baseball or football game, spurring it on partly with their own entertainment?
Gauntlet Knights certainly could pluck sprouts of war. They had the power to pluck all sorts of sprouts planted by other countries, trying to apply military pressure against theirs. However, that was just sprouts. They didn't have the power to resist the springtime of war itself, where irresponsible emotions spurred on war and caused it to shoot up all across the earth. If you want to do that, I think you'd have to switch careers and become a politician. I agree. Meow, what you're thinking of doing probably isn't our job. If we're going there, why don't we get the Gauntlet Knights around the world to unite? Let's form an independent military peace or something. I have a good name, Outer Heaven.
Jaded, this step close from unionizing.
Yes, but also Outer Heaven.
Oh god.
Jaden's like, but what if Outer Heaven though? Just a little nation of soldiers, for soldiers, by soldiers, of soldiers.
With a sprinkle of Lord of the Flies, because they're all kids. I said
Lord of the Fries. That sounds like a much more pleasant
kids
time.
trapped in a supermarket.
We announce that the Gotham Knight Army of Peace will smack down any country that uses military force against any other country and to become permanently neutral guardians of peace. Yes, we will stop war with war. It'll work.
Exactly. That sounds like something that's been done in any number of anime and manga. Oh, Taka reveals himself to be a weeb right there and then
Do you not remember JoJo's Bizarre Barbecue? Or Slam Donk?
Oh, God.
The ones who currently hold that role, NATO's IPMA, can hardly be said to serving their function at this moment. Truly, truly unlike the UN. Truly. The Uyghur Muslims in China? Who even? Even NATO only exists thanks to the balance between the other four factions. No one would be so foolish to kick out one of the legs of the chair they're sitting on. And for that reason, it truly would be wonderful if something existed that could efficiently and impartially protect world peace without any sort of personal motivations.
We can use our Kazuna like this to interact with Gauntlet Knights around the world. Right now, we're the peak of this world's military power. I don't think it would be impossible.
Right? It's a young person's job to have big dreams. And making those dreams come true is also our job, isn't it right? We're all the main characters here.
The main characters in every era are the young, huh? Are we really the main characters? True, we are young and we have nothing tying us down. Furthermore, we're fearless, as well as being the world's best Gauntlet Knights. When you lay it all out like that, there's more than enough reason to think we're the main characters here. And yet, I couldn't confidently feel that I was the main character. In the end, we're guardians.
But Meow, you are the main character, just like Keiichi and Battler.
Or rather, game pieces.
I'm sure Seacat Whisperer got that one.
God. In the game of chess, each of us would be just one of the many pieces that isn't the king. Long ago, I wanted to learn chess, so I looked up the rules, and a certain line shocked me. Chess is a game where you try to take your opponent's king. It doesn't matter how many other pieces you lose in exchange for that. In the end, chess is a war game. For the ultimate goal of taking your opponent's king and winning, all the other pieces were laid out so they can kill each other. It doesn't matter how many die as a result. No matter how many or few casualties you have, your victory is worth the same in the end. I remember that, for some reason. This really didn't sit well with me
How
at the
would the
time.
chess meta change if you got points on your victory for how many pieces you had at the end?
Well, isn't that just checkers?
No, not at all. Because you have to wipe out.
Oh my god, Muskamoka says Lord of the Solid when they
Lord of the
fly
Solid
as they
when
go.
fly.
And it says chess, but the pieces can unionize. Great. Gauntlet Knights are the strongest of military forces. In the chess analogy, I'm sure they'd be even more powerful than a queen. However, they're still pieces that are less than king. In fact, even the king is a piece. They're in a totally different dimension from the player who controls them and decides the fate of the game board. Chess pieces obey the orders of the player and kill or killed. If they don't like that, then it makes sense that they'll want to become players and stop this game of chess. Can a queen piece say she had enough of war and appeal to the player? And if she can't, can a piece itself become a player?
Oh, this is stuff. Yep.
What am I even thinking about? The gauntlet is a symbol of the world's strongest power. The honor earned by wearing one is an extremely heavy burden.
Yes, it is a very heavy and very precious.
All we can do is show everyone our overwhelming power and bring the chessboard to a standstill. And then everyone just blinks out like, oh.
You got it on. You're on the ball here, Jupiter. The chessboard? When powerful pieces are lined up in various lines of movement and defense crossing complex ways, the player has to think long and hard, which eventually forces them to calm down. Ah, I see. So that's our ultimate goal.
That truly would make us walls of peace.
In that case, those who wish to become Baibao's opponents had better put on at least as good a show as us.
Say what you like. Next time, we definitely
The
won't
same goes
lose.
for us. I don't believe we truly settled who's the best with that sports-like competition. It's been a December, springtime of war, where sprouts of conflict propped up one after another. We'll end this disturbing trend by Christmas. And of course, that itself is a legendary phrase used by those forever branded as war optimists. Ah, World War One. Yeah, it'll be over by Christmas.
Oh God. Oh God.
You sent an email to the old bastard, Poyo.
I really am just a kid. I can't believe I got panicky, couldn't sleep, and then sent Dad a weird email. I just got an email from my adorable lonely son saying he can't sleep because he's worried about world peace. I'm sure Dad's gonna laugh out loud and has used some mild entertainment to complement a drink.
The theme of Tomitake, Mitake Tojiro. Sorry, I'm like in Higurashi Go, so I'm still like, Tomitake Jiro. They're receiving a call from the old bastard, Poyo.
What? Really? Weren't you busy? In a way, I had calmed my heart a little bit by sending that email. So, I was honestly a bit ticked off that he'd unreasonably chosen to call me directly at this time of day. So the reason I'm mad is because I sent him an email and he was so worried that he called me back directly. I guess sons really are selfish creatures.
So, do you want to split this, or do you want to take both roles? All right.
I'll do it.
Stretch out that voice, too.
I know what you're thinking. And don't call me, just respond by email, you old bastard. Isn't that right? If you know that, just send me an email, seriously. Middle-aged men feel it's faster to just call instead of typing it all out. Okay, but don't you also say you hate talking with Kazuna since it tires you out? Oh, you seem pretty bright and chipper for someone who just sent such a neurotic email. Well, now I'm feeling just fine. Thanks. Dad? Earlier you said something about how the young are the main characters of my era. Being a main character doesn't mean you just have opportunities handed to you. This isn't a barbershop. You don't get to sit there while other people do everything for you. Yeah, I guess so. Everyone thinks about it when they're young.
Oh, Evie, did you start watching this? Did you start watching Higurashi Go without doing Higurashi first? Oh no. I'm sure you know by this point, but it's a sequel.
Oh, I gotta
Oh,
watch
did you
that
not know
then.
Higurashi Go was a sequel?
I do. I know it was a sequel. I haven't just watched the series from the get-go. But, like, I've watched the first anime, and then I've known, like, the VN, so, like, I know, like, if it's a sequel, I'm interested.
Yeah,
I just
the
haven't gotten around to
VN
watching
the
it.
VN's a bit more nuanced. It goes more in depth. It's longer,
Yeah.
of course, right? But as far as anime adaptations go, the Higurashi one isn't terrible.
Yeah, I actually really liked the anime. Alright.
I think, like, it's an alright first watch, but it's not, like, a really good or excellent first watch, because there's so much of it that you just don't get or experience, right, at all, right, in the nature.
And it makes sense, because, like, they have to cut the meat for certain arcs, and I get
No, I'm talking about the
that.
sequel, because it got advertised as a remake, because, you know, it's structure, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, since we're just talking about Higurashi Go, I guess I can talk about a bit about that last episode. No spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything right now, but it's kind of an origin story for a certain someone, but Saikoroshi already did that, Saikoroshi Hen, right? So it's really interesting what's going on. It was also obvious it was a sequel since episode 2, but, you know. Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, the last episode...
Everyone thinks about it when they're young. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that.
I did it too. The young are always fodder of the adults.
They're the adults' pieces. However, when you find you're no longer young and look around you, you realize that you only had the power to leap off the game board during your youth. Once you're middle-aged, it's all over. You can only move in ways that have been laid out for you, and you truly do become a game piece.
Gauntlet Knights are game changers in military history, right? So if you say you're just a piece in someone's game, then it's all over for you. Being a game changer means crushing the rules. It means being someone who annihilates the way things have been valued up until that point. You said that no matter how strong a piece you are, you can't ever escape the game board, right? Are you sure it isn't possible to just bust down that rule? At least for you? If I break the rules of Gauntlet Knights, what should I try to become that's more than a Gauntlet Knight? When I was young, I was in the military's news department. Did I ever tell you why I asked for that position? Many times. It was because you wanted to stand in front line supporting the walls of peace, showing people the true nature and the value of peace, as well as the truth about how hard it is to protect it. You wanted to contribute to the world peace as a reporter, right?
Just like the cost of stocks and petroleum, the cost of peace also changes with the times. Once people start thinking that peace is free, like air, they start to neglect it. They treat it as less important. Peace is not free. Those people may praise peace, but it isn't as though peace is eternal. Hoping to prevent people from saying that peace could be won with just a song, as if they were fairies living in a fantasy land. Hoping to prevent them from forgetting the value of peace and its true weight. Dad aimed to become a military reporter, according to him. This was your line. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of hard to tell which narration's which, too. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, is Georgia just narration? However, as I continue working, I quickly felt the same worries you did. In the end, would I just be taking whatever pictures those old higher-ups wanted me to, acting as their game piece? So, making use of my ability to interact with countries and fractions all over the world, I formed a secret society.
I like a bit of that because your Saikoroshi Han already covers some of that for a certain character, But I feel like, for example, the Ciconia 34 origin story kind of doesn't make sense, particularly because of this. I I really don't think that's a thing. Like it's all red herrings right now. Yeah, we'll figure out how to talk some other time. Sorry, Jupiter, for interrupting. This stream's been a lot of tangents.
No worries. You're going into the deep conspiracies of the When They Cry series. Evie says communism is a red
Ikuko
herring.
equals Yasu. I will not further elaborate.
Huh? A secret society? Oh, don't get the wrong idea. It's one of those chivalric orders, if you want to go by its flashy name.
In the A3W era, the term chivalric order had a second meaning in addition to an organization of knights. It was like a club where people with the same aims could secretly gather. They would follow code that only the members knew, and they'd keep their existence hidden too. In fact, it had nearly all the elements that would fascinate most boys. However, they weren't thought of as anything profound or mysterious. It was just an exaggerated, more colorful version of what the B3W era would call a club, circle, or a group. Of course, the term chivalric order had only started being used so lightly in the last few decades. Long ago, there were several secret societies known as chivalric orders, such as the Order of Knights Templar, the Order of the Rosy Cross, the Order of the Three Kings. They had a history of over 1,000 years, and elites all over the world were secret members of them as they quietly built up worldwide conspiracies to form a new world order. In other words, they were the starring role in conspiracy theories with a mysterious aura about them. Now, however, middle-aged salarymen drinking buddies would form things like the Order of the Pub Crawl, and when they saw a new employee who could hold his liquor, they'd invite him to join. When a husband showed up at home after midnight and his wife demanded to know exactly how much money he had spent, he would play dumb by saying he couldn't tell her because that would violate his chivalric order's code.
Oh shit, he was a member of the Midnight Crew.
In other words, a term that had been for 1,000 years history, a term that was used to represent secret societies rumored to have assassinated famous historical figures, had fallen a long way.
Evie says, don't get the wrong idea. It's the sort of secret society where we all jerk off in a coffin. I was gonna be like, and Tutor's gonna be like, it's okay, son. You can join the secret society of centrists, where we all wear top hats and suits.
Okay,
and
Tojiro centrism sucks, but can we just for a second? You know, like, the secret societies where they do jerk off into coffins or church jerking or whatever, right? You ever hear about those people who die while choking themselves while jerking?
Wait, is this like a genuine like cult thing, or is this just like asphyxia?
Both. Yeah, but like church jerking has to be good, right? Though, right? Choke jerking, because you know, there's a lot of risk.
Muskapolka says, "Yep."
David Carradine was in a secret society. just you wait, Evie. This entire game's plot will revolve around David Carradine.
Oh god.
Oh.
At one point, I realized that there were lots of military reporters and officers who felt the same way in military factions from all over the world. Even though they all entered the military to support the walls of peace, in reality, they were all getting worn out, being forced to write favorable stories, and organizing budgets to make old
Evie, you're talking about a
look
Kill Bill
good.
fanfic, and if this just goes like that, I'm sure it'll be good. I believe in you. Though also, when's Kill Bill 3 where, that lady's daughter gets revenge on Elle?
That'd be a good one.
The idea is literally just right there, right?
Yeah. But they were military reporters. That was the name of the piece they played, and they couldn't be anything more than that. That's why they all thought.
That's just like me. Since I'm a gauntlet knight, I can't do anything but fight and pluck the sprouts. I was about to lose hope, thinking I had no way to resist the soil or the springtime before that was making the sprouts grow. So, what did Dad do? He gathered military reporters with similar ideas from across the world and formed a chivalry order. Okay, that's called muckrackers, though. That's just muckracking. Or muckraking? Yeah, I think that's the word. What kind of chivalric order was it? Hey now, you'd better not underestimate a chivalric order's code, okay? I can't even tell you, meow. Well, simply put, we made a hotline for peace that stretched across multiple factions. Yeah, I can see your
As he
code's
reveals
real
it all.
strict. What do you mean by a hotline for peace?
In addition to wars, even fights and estrangement between people can come from poor communication or misunderstanding. Take the famous incident from the B3W era, the Cuban Missile Crisis, which I mentioned earlier. Now they're going to just talk about it all. A Soviet submarine armed with nuclear weapons was attacked by an American fleet, which didn't know it had nukes. The submarine captain and political officer concluded this meant war had been broken out between the US and the USSR, and had decided to launch a nuclear torpedo. However, a single officer with enough rank to veto a nuclear launch just happened to be on board, and he disagreed with the decision. After a fierce argument, he managed to calm the captain down and got him to rethink launching the torpedo. Officers like this didn't exist on most submarines. On most submarines, if the captain and political officer decided to launch, they would be able to immediately enact a nuclear strike. However, by coincidence, an officer with the same rank as the captain was on this submarine, so they were forced to consult with him as well as about their decision. The existence of a third officer and his decision not to launch, these two coincidences would have miraculously saved humanity from nuclear war. If either one hadn't happened, the A3W era might have been one of sticks and stones. In subsequent investigations, it is concluded this was humanity's closest brush with nuclear war. Afterwards, a connection was made between the heads of the US and the USSR, and they called it a hotline. A direct phone line was set up so that, in an emergency, the heads of the two governments could talk directly. Even for opposing countries, a lack of communication can lead to even worse situations. This was something that was already, or perhaps finally, learned in the A2W era.
I decided to have officers from around the world join my chivalric order, giving rise to a new method of communication between factions. Vaping telepathically. Okay. Wait, I did read the meow line. Sorry.
You mean...
It's just like it's a rap public bath gathering that I created.
Oh, it's just like it's a rap public bath gathering that I created. We all swore to support the walls of peace together. Realizing that I'd done the same thing as my dad without even knowing I was helping him made me embarrassed in the only way the Ciconia born can understand.
If a military reporter wanted, he could form a network between militaries all over.
Hell, you've already been strangely good at making weird friends.
So, I would become friends with military reporters around the world. I'd get them to join my chivalric order. And then we'd communicate. If we did, then looking down from a bird's eye view, we might see things completely different.
Announcements made by the Foreign Affairs Department or the media are always fundamentally tied to one faction or another, which influences the text of the articles themselves. But even when people don't mean anything wrong by it, they talk about news from sources they don't trust in a cautious, suspicious way, and they sometimes discuss news from those they do trust in a carefree, almost naive way.
That sows seeds of misunderstanding and conflict. If you let it sit there, its roots dig in until there's no way to change it anymore, as has happened many times throughout history. I wanted to catch those seeds of conflict while they were still seeds, sharing correct information among the members of our order, and telling all the factions about it, solving misunderstandings and encouraging correct decisions. That was my thought process when I formed that order.
Crap. Dad's starting to sound a little cool to me.
If only Meow knew.
Well, yeah. It's not like he was born an old man. He was young for longer than I've been, and now he's a veteran who's still building up life experience. Hey, how does your chivalric order view the current world situation? In particular, warlike emotions heating up between the AOU and the COU.
Of course, it's a worrying issue for us. I can't speak of it in detail because of our code, but naturally we're fighting day after day. All is in the name of guiding humanity down the right path.
Oh, that one. Oh, I know that one. It's from the 3-person, right? Those were the secret codes, words of the Order of the Three Kings.
What do you think? Was I able to distract you for a bit?
I think I'll create a chivalric order too.
I don't see why not. Why don't you form a chivalric order of Gauntlet Knights with your Gauntlet Knight friends? I'm not young anymore, so I'm not sure I can help resolve your real worries. But your Gauntlet comrades are in the same generation as you, right? I'm sure they'll be able to give you much better advice than me for getting over all sorts of worries you might have. Then, you won't have to send sentimental emails to your old man at this hour of the night anymore.
Shut up. Seriously, just when I thought you might actually be a bit reliable as a dad, I won't email you again. Good night.
Yeah, good night, Meow. I needed to be distracted for a little bit too, so I'm glad we could talk. Instead of learning your lesson here, please email again whenever you want.
Like I would,
Baka.
idiot. Baka.
Your call with my son has ended, Poyo. Tojiro, world's best dad, right? Totally.
My son really is adorable. There's no way he'd ever let me, but I wish we could sleep together holding hands again sometime. He's like
He's
Maze
Maze Hughes. If Maze Hughes was like, "Yo, father, I've gotten Roy ready."
Work hard, Meow. However, the world isn't going to wait around for you to start. I'm sure Meow thinks this eve of war atmosphere is, as a kid would put it, the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end? You are behind the times. Here's how it should go. Once it's begun, it already has ended.
This was a virtual room used by the chivalric order headed by Tojiro. He led a chivalric order that had access to a network of intelligence officers from countries all over this world. And he had told Meow it was possible for them to analyze facts and circumstances across the planet from multiple angles. Thanks to this power, they were aware of military events in particular before they were publicly announced. And when that information influenced military-connected businesses, they were able to sell it and build up a vast store of wealth and even more connections. And now,
Hooray for capitalism.
hooray. By taking a bird's eye view of the state of countries around the planet, where war might break out at any time, they were able to control and manipulate information even more than usual.
Moskowitz says my son will not be winning.
He just opens the door and it's like, are you winning, son? You're not.
Meow's cut in half.
No, it's just a Spider-Man meme, except with Meow, and Meow pointing at each other.
Oh god. Oh god. And then, wait, it's Meowth, and then the other evil vaporwave Meow, right?
Yeah, Meow, and what name are we gonna go for? G-Meow?
G-Meow, yeah,
Okay.
sure, G-Meow.
Grandmaster Tojiro, we've obtained the minutes of a COU assembly meeting. I'm sending you them now.
There we go. Nice, very nice. They're dancing splendidly, aren't they? We have no problems in the AOU either. In fact, the flames are even easier to fan.
Shadow
here.
Meow, Nega Meow, Meow Alter.
Baka Neko Meow? No.
In a nation without Ciconia, very few common people interact with generations of. Just by pushing the right buttons for each generation, they dance along quite easily.
By stratifying, like, people's social positions in the Zetra, they became very easily manipulated.
It's easy in the COU too. Their old world sense of value is bounded by family, religion, make them extremely weak to pressure to submit to their elder. The fact that they refuse to reform the philosophy in the A3W makes them a failure. Not at all. For better or worse, they're all feel much more human than the countries that chased out the stork.
In the virtual room,
That's right. If you can't give birth to children naturally, then you lose empathy for children or some shit, right?
that's some bullshit. And having children's not a person's entire life. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, no, I think it's like obviously like it sounds weirdly like focusing on
But-
birth,
but-
like natural births, but it's like also
No.
obviously
It's
this is society,
I think
so
it's
like,
talking more about the
testing-
structure of society, right? Because it's like the AAU. It's
Yeah.
like as an older member of society, you never really interact with children unless it's your job. Think about that for a second.
Oh yeah, that's right, because like everyone's like talking on their because you be on that phone.
No, not even that. Remember, there are no parents. They get raised as bachelors. Remember, they're
Oh. You basically don't have parents. How are they raised then? Is it just boarding school, but for life? But the kids are.
they get
Oh,
raised in
God.
batches of siblings from the same factory.
Oh god. It's like long gone.
That's
days.
why I said, is it Ciconia when I dropped into stream? Remember?
Goodness gracious.
That game will.
It's like.
That game's future looks a brick brighter, though.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah. I mean, hey, Rourke never knew what the sun was, so
Mole
he was just
man.
a mole man. a depressed old man. They're all just Rourke and Adir are just two gays.
But what about
Gay mole
our
men,
gay mole men
basically.
here?
They're all disaster gays.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I like Grave Mole's logo. I think
The
it's
only
great.
distinguished gay.
Yep.
In the mere 2 weeks since the start of December, public opinion in both factions have reached a level of agitation that placed them on the brink of war.
So this is just Brave New World then. This society is kind of Brave New World-ish,
Yeah, it's
basically.
very that, but also very a lot of other things.
Yeah. That and then sprinkle in some military industrial. Oh, bye, Moscow Blanca.
okay.
Hope we hear you back.
Oh, just for a second anyway. I hope whatever you're doing, it goes well.
People are so easy. Why don't they try to judge things by their own will, using their own eyes and ears?
As you have said, Grandmaster, it's because information is becoming like fast food. The foolish masses don't want to spend money on it. Similar to hunger and a desire for knowledge and information exists in all people. Everyone supposedly knows that if you don't acquire good information, you'll be tricked or confused, and you stand to lose a lot in the end. And yet...
No one tries to get their information with their own hand. They go to a free information site they like, or a TV program, or maybe a newspaper, and think they've gathered all the information the world has to offer.
When people know that someone of the unknown origins has prepared their food, they become unsettled and refuse to eat. But when it comes to information, they accept it blindly and believe it, without thinking about who might have tampered with it. Then again, because idiots like that exist all over the world, we're able to make a quick buck. As a result of heightening concerns about food safety, people started checking the calorie count as well as the data regarding pesticide protection sites and producers of their food in detail. At the end of the B3W era, they would even publish pictures of the faces of the farmers who grew the sesame seeds for hamburger buns. So how does this compare to how they check their information? How many people actually check the composition, ingredients, production sites, and producers that make up the information they're given?
Hooray for commodity fetishism. Am I right?
Articles always present as impartial and middle of the road and written to seem politically neutral. And the information sources that are their ingredients are often military officials or interested parties who may not even exist. Hey, well, obviously this whole thing with all the hedge funds, right, and fucking over the short sellers isn't actually going to destroy capitalism, but it's pretty funny though. So, but have you noticed how like every news thing has just brought in a bunch of rich people to tell you how that's wrong?
Oh, you mean the GameStop stock market thing?
Do you understand how that works?
I think it's I think it also is just wild how easy it is to break the stock market if that's all it takes is for a bunch of people to be like, let's all buy the same market. Like
it's a bit more than that, because essentially there's this really stupid practice called short selling, right? So essentially, sorry for the tangent, everyone. We're gonna talk about stocks for a bit, for like 2 minutes. Okay.
If the stock market ain't real, what am I laughing my ass off? Checkmate atheists. Oh yeah.
I don't know, Mosca. Fiction's fake, and I laugh my ass off at fiction. I'm just saying, stock market can be funny and a total fabrication at the same time. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Reina. Explain though, please. I do not understand stocks. I have no
I
money
also
for stonks.
have no money for stonks, but let me explain it to you. Okay, so a very simplified version. So imagine you're a rich hedge fund person. You know what's a really easy way to make some money? Say, hello person, I will promise to buy these stocks to sell to you. So can you give me money to buy this? So essentially you're like, hello person, I will sell you 10 apples. I do not have the apples, but I will buy the 10 apples later by a certain date, and they will be yours. and then you buy the 10 apples as a promise from them, right? So the apples are worth like $10 now, right? So they pay you $100 for their apples, right? But you already know the price of those apples is gonna go down because of insider information or just whatnot, right? So you're like, okay, now that I have bought them off that, given them the promise, now the apples are $5. So then you buy 10 apples for $50. So you give the person their apples, and then you make $50. And thus, short selling is a thing people do, but with stocks, which are like part of an ownership of a company, right? And you'd get dividends that the shareholders get, and if you have enough, you can influence decisions of the company. That's what they're selling, right? And they're like, okay, how about this? GameStop's going down the trash. So all these people are like, oh, but what if I just take this stock, right? And I'm like, what if I sell all this stock as promises, and I know it'll go down? So then I'll make millions of dollars by selling someone else's bullshit that I haven't bought yet. But then a bunch of people are like, notice it, and are like, wait a minute, what if we all just buy these stocks and then refuse to sell them and hold them, and the price just inflates because of that? And then, because eventually they're legally obligated to buy those because they've already sold the thing they have not bought, right? So it's like, oh, the apples, oh no, now all these random neighborhood kids are buying the apples, and now they won't sell me the apples until they're like $400. Oh no, but now I'm legally obligated to buy these apples because I already sold these apples I don't have. So now I have to buy them for $400. This is unfair. Only I'm allowed to manipulate the markets behind doors. This is bullshit. Store seller, force them to give me my apples back.
Now they realized, oh shit, maybe we should have regulations about the stock market. Now because they're not getting rich off of it.
Yeah, that's a very simplified version of what's happening. So I hope that just explained it very clearly and cleanly, though.
I like the apples analogy.
Thank you.
Nice.
Find the idea of a promise of a rumor about money.
I think I was just as they took my apples and give my apples back.
Okay.
That's great. Alright.
And yet, people gobble them up. When it comes to food, people care about the calories and sugar content and additives. Yeah, give me all of that shit. I want it. I need the grease.
Calories? You mean delicious points?
But for information, they're like dogs immediately gulping down what they find lying on the side of the road. There are people who try to eat with a healthy nutritional balance, but does anyone try to intake information with a healthy balance? Honestly, there's probably a lot of biases and lack of knowledge in, like, my head, but After all, any sort of nutritional imbalance is unhealthy.
Sorry, I'm just like, I had a burp there for a moment.
Problem.
Oh, right. By the way, the mishap at the Aesir agriculture plant is about to become public knowledge, so I assume you sold off
speaking of stonks and market manipulation.
Rain time. The only time I've dealt with stonks is the stock market in Animal Crossing, and even then, I didn't know what that was.
By the way, can I just say this game is beautiful? Like, every time we talk about an interesting real-life topic, just 2 seconds later, it happens.
It happens. Because this is a very fascinating dystopia. I mean, the way they're talking about the lack of, like, the overwhelming amount of information and people not naturally not, like, kind of caring about fact-checking information is already giving me Metal Gear Solid 2 vibes as well.
Naturally, natural disasters, wars are always opportunities for profit, if you know about them beforehand. This truly is a wonderful chivalric order, Grandmaster. I'm truly honored to have been invited to join.
You know, I told my son I let us show for the sake of justice, but am I really a villain, but I'm really a villain, aren't I?
Now then, Grandmaster, it's time for us to make a killing again. Big money, no whammies, says random follower. Comrade 211 has exited the room, Poyo. Go on. Oh, this is you, sorry.
Go on. Rake in the money. Though, pretty soon, there might not be a world spent.
Ah, yeah, because he's playing these people too. Grandmaster Seshet has entered the room, Poyo. Oh, nice work.
Mapoyo.
Mapoyo. Oh, yeah, Mapoyo.
Yes.
I forget.
Mapoyo.
I just read the logs. You got them dancing as well, both of the COU and the OU.
If we can call them balloons of water, then they're just about ready to burst. Now, if we just poke them with a very small number of events.
Oh, still your Order of Wisteria has a lot of hard workers in it. Everyone in my order is so eccentric.
When you've got a eccentric commander, it's only natural that the members.
Everyone has fashion on the level of Sashat.
Oh God, no!
This is high fashion, Jupiter. Beautiful, gorgeous.
Because I immediately think of Sephiroth.
Several of the jeans in the hat.
No. The secret society of like dummy thick himbo truckers and like mom jeans. God. Oh God, that's so cursed. That'd be funny, but so cursed. Well, my order is directly based on greed, and no one works harder than a greedy
Yeah,
person.
because that's how that works in real life. Totally.
I mean, what is not capitalism but truly the innovator?
Hey, you ever think about how pretty much every major like scientific discovery for a long period of time was just because rich people had the free time to, study things they enjoyed and just look into things and experiment?
Yep.
Wild.
It's so wild.
After all, money's a wonderful concept which humanity created to make prosperity visible to the eye. They're gathering information for the sake of money, buying and selling and raking it in. I imagine your members really are giving it their all in their work.
Still, they haven't seen through our real plans.
They're working as well as our arms and legs.
Now, all we need to do... sorry. Now, all we need are the needles to pop this puffed up war balloon.
This is the three kings we're talking about, so I suppose they're utterly prepared for that, without any loose ends. I bet they've got a whole bunch of those ready to go.
Well, I've been forced to handle several of them myself.
Oh, I doubt you really hate it. You're such a masochist after all. You just love being given impossible demands and being spun about.
Though I wish it was for a sultry babe rather than
Is this
three
flirting?
old people. That is Surscat, the mom of.
See, when you do
Meow.
like Sesha wrong as Surscat, I just think of Carcat and then I'm back to Homestuck.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of Surscat.
Well, I'll leave the room now. Thanks for the minutes from the COU assembly meeting. I'll try to follow the movements of the Order of the Holy Ark. Wait a minute. Is this a...
Oh,
we haven't heard that name before.
How many secret societies are there? Wait, no, I thought that was the mole people.
No, because there's the Order of... What was it, Prometheus? The Order of the Three Kings back then. There's the Order of the Rose. There's Seshat's Order and whatever it's called in spin-off, right? There's Tojir's Order of the Wisteria. And now the Seshat's looking into the movements of the whole Order of the Holy Ark. Stop! There's such a thing as too many conspiracies. Vasquez says.
We'll get ready. You've played Metal Gear Solid. We'll get ready for Ciconia.
You could draw a comparison to a lot of games and just be like, ha ha ha! How many levels of metaphor or conspiracy are you on? You are like little baby.
I read Homestuck till Volume 5. I
You
can
are
take
like
this.
little baby.
Yep. There are a lot of orders under the Three Kings.
Yep, there are.
Secret Whisper says.
So a good chunk of them, as we noted, are allied with the Three Kings or working directly under them, or being manipulated. So we can simplify it a bit.
Wolfgamo says I'm gonna go full Pepe Sylvia on this thing. Oh goodness.
By the way, have you really not heard anything since then from your ex-wife? Oh, is Seshat not the mom?
Damn it! I was really hoping that I would like to imagine that she was the mom and she would put me out in bad jeans as she was as a baby. He's all, Dad, why am I wearing jeans a lot? It's just weird as a baby. He's all, don't blame me, it was your mother. Alright. She's already completely graduated from life and has nothing tying her down. She said her life as someone else. Game piece is over, and so she'll spend the rest of her time living just for her hobbies. She probably doesn't want to go out of her way to contact a husband from time to time when she was a piece. And I'm getting to enjoy the single life
Does
again.
this describe anyone we've met? Or do you think it does?
Probably, but I can't remember. I am head empty right now. Those jeans.
I'll ask you when these jeans are no longer on screen. Is that really true?
It is. Since then, I haven't heard a peep
Do you
from
think?
my ex-wife. And Seshat's like, that's because I killed
Unless
her.
Tojiro's lying. Ooh.
Yeah.
Because we also have to remember
Tojiro was
how many of these characters are lying.
Yeah. Tojiro lied to his son. How do you know he's not lying to Seshat?
Tojiro,
Yes, Grand
in
Master.
accordance with our order's code, I won't doubt what you've just said. However, make sure that you at least don't betray our order's long-held wishes.
I
The
won't
face of a
betray
man you can trust.
Tojiro, truly.
I don't mind if you betray me. It's natural for men and women to betray each other. However, a betrayal of our order is the one thing I will not forgive. That is our code.
And I've sworn not to break it, Grand Master.
After all, I don't want to have to pass judgment on you, Tojiro. Don't forget that.
Of course, Grand Master.
Grandmaster Seshet has exited the room, Poyo. Jestress has entered the room, Poyo. What a busy man.
He is already betraying them because he's working with Jestress, right?
Depends. Is he betraying all of them? Is he also betraying Jestress? Is
he just going full Revolver Onslaught where he's
quadruple,
like a
septuple
triple-crossed
agent?
spy? Yep.
Well, you sure kept
Oh,
me
that reminds
waiting.
me, so we had to deal at some point in RPG campaign, that I ran, my players dealt with, a threat I had them, they could read their minds, by ripping out their memories at certain points when they had to interact with them, then leaving messages for them in locations to recover their memories so they could continue working on plans, and they set up a whole thing where they, played their character without certain memories at certain points and with them at other points, and it was pretty cool.
That is really interesting.
Double agent, triple agent, agents you can only describe if you're a triggered opportunity teacher. No.
Good. I'm just gonna take that quote, Mosca Blanca, because that's really good, and I might throw it in my Ace Switch game. Just gonna take it. Just saving it up. Just pulling out a document for that comment.
Were you having a long conversation with someone?
I was a bit busy with work for my own silver. Sorry I wasn't able to contact you.
I see you were working hard. The Three Kings have commanded that you be suitably rewarded for overseeing
Oh,
this
yeah,
work.
that's a good comic series. I just, like, I've not read it in a long time. It's been a while since, yeah.
Oh, I've not read The Invisible. I'm totally gonna like check it out then. This sounds like a that line alone like sold me on the book now, Mosca Blanca.
If you can figure out what Tojiro's intentions, you might as well claim you solved Ciconia.
Oh damn. I'm glad. That's probably the highest sort of praise the Three Kings can give.
With this, the buds of war filled to bursting. We just need for them to explode.
You've got more than enough pins to pop the balloon, right?
The 76 chivalric orders owned by one or another of the kings are already fully
So now we have a number of
prepared.
how many random conspiracies there are that are working for the kings.
Oh, you know, it would be funny if there was one called the Goofy Goobers. just think that it's funny to like have secret societies with
No,
funny
totally,
names, you know?
totally. But the
However,
SpongeBob reference
your
still
order of
stabbed
the
me somewhere.
Yep.
However, your order of the Wisteria has done splendid work equal to all 76. It's possible that your strength alone might have been enough to start World 4.
I've spent so much time getting
Wow,
ready for
all
the
it takes for
party.
World War IV is a bunch of assholes who want to get rich off stonks.
It's a bunch of centrists who want to get rich off the stonks. Yeah, not surprised. I do hope the invitations arrive safely.
They will, that's for certain. The three kings said that they didn't. Sorry. The Three Kings said that they didn't want to leave even as many survivors as World War we had. They were carrying this out with the intention of assertively wiping out all of humanity. Believe that even so, many would surely survive and become the seeds of the new world. However, if they overdid it just a little, a certain extinction of humanity would be the result. I'm sure they'll come to the party. After all, this is humanity's last party. If they don't come, the kings will eat up everything, leaving not even a single plate behind.
What do you think she's referencing? Because that's a very interesting line. They will come.
The landlords. The landlords being like, you are 6 feet apart. Where's the rent? Mosco says, where's the lie really alien? Mosco Blanca says
Whisperer says, yeah, I have my theories. Mosca Blanca says, I hate how it's not even a joke. Aliens featured really prominently in conspiracy theories. Who knows? Could be aliens, could be time travel, could be a Matrix situation, could be just, normal stuff like horrible nanomachine conspiracies.
Could be the wizard.
Could be an AI.
Could be a witch or wizard. I'm not gonna be surprised if there's magic in this sci-fi.
Whistle. Sorry, I can't whistle, so I'm just gonna say whistle over again. Whistle. Could be those time travel matrix aliens. Those time travel matrix alien meta witches.
Oh god.
Yeah, I've checked out Haworthia, and yeah, I've read all the translations for that. So I'm not gonna say
Oh,
anything
God.
about that, but we might just read those at the end of this after we do all the little skits as well, because that's directly connected in a certain way.
Sweet. Perfect. Even so, I hope someone resolutely survives. Becoming the seeds of a new humanity in a new era is all. That's a lot of fucking that I can get behind.
It's his fetish. That's the
Something.
entire reason.
Oh god.
By the way, what would you like as a reward? They gave me strict orders to come here and ask you that.
I see. In that case, I want another child. I'm joking.
Don't say my body.
No. I want that.
Huh?
I want your mask.
You're right.
This?
I was like, I mean, it's shiny. It looks pretty cool. He's like, yes, I have mask now. Okay.
What Tojiro pointed out with his thumb was the mask covering her face. Strictly speaking, it wasn't a mask, but a visor-shaped wearable terminal. It was an item that had been popular in the era before mental displays could be used to control anything. No way. I'm fond of this.
I won't ask you for a real thing. I won't ask you for the real thing. I only want you to remove it from your avatar just when you're meeting me in this virtual. I suppose that's the reward I want. No good?
I don't really mind. After all, if the three Keens hear about this, they'll definitely tell me to agree to a little reward like that. Hold on. I don't have an avatar. Hold on. I don't have an avatar without a visor. I'm making a surface map.
Looking just a little. Okay.
Looking just a little.
Looking just a little
Sorry, you can
awkward. Gestures did some sort of processing for a while. Apparently, obeying a demand to show a part of her body she usually kept hidden to the opposite sex was embarrassing for her.
I did it.
Oh god.
She's another a certain character face. Yep.
Yep. Gestures removed her visor. Beneath it was a face of a troubled woman who still had a bit of youth in her, in contrast to her adult behavior.
Oh my god, most says need it for
Need it.
cosplay I'm doing.
Indeed, Ciconia whisper. Indeed. So you want to say the name of the character you're thinking? Because I think for the people in chat, either they have enough context where they know, or they don't have enough that it'll spoil them on anything.
Seekats is not.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
think it's her.
It's definitely not, but it's just fun because it's like, oh come on.
Yeah. It reminds me of the time we first met. Oh, is this really the
Is this the mom? Oh.
Yeah. How many times did I tell you to stop doing that?
That is his wife, isn't it? That's his ex-wife. Isn't it? God.
Find purpose, the means will follow. Mahatma Gandhi. That's an interesting choice.
Is she creepy lobotomy mole doctor?
Is she? Is
Is
she?
she? Do we have like maybe? I mean, I'm not surprised since this is a world of test tube babies that make like clones are easily viable.
Mhm. Jaden has entered the room. Gunhild has entered the room.
Sorry for calling you two at such a weird time.
Don't worry about it, partner. Call for us whenever you like. I'd prefer if you did worry a little. And I made an appointment reasonably far in advance. So, what's the thing you wanted to say to just the Warcats? This is Meow we're talking about. He must be worrying about something really hard right now.
Hey guys, want to join my secret society? Well, that's just it.
Tell us. Stop beating around the bush.
I wanted to talk about this because I believe you two are my true friends, not just war buddies.
We always put our lives in each other's hands while in the skies, right? Knowing that, why go out of your way to say you believe we're true friends? I figured it was something to do with Meow, but it's something more serious?
Guardians who support the walls of peace.
It's like I thought
right?
we were going to talk about my precious girlfriend. Of course.
We pluck the sprouts of war and defend peace.
That's right. What's your point?
What do you think the sprouts of war are, practically speaking?
Ah, I see. We've been using that phrase, but it's quite abstract.
For example, though the COU probably has the Galaxy hasn't had any bases on it until recently. Even if the two Japans disagree on whether it should be a natural territory or split in two, it was at least respected as a World War relic, and both armies avoid using it as a station for military power.
If they try to set up bases there, that really is a sprout of war. Do that and the Glass Sea will practically belong to the COU Japan. AU Japan can't afford to just accept that, so they'd be forced to use military power in some way, like the strike that actually happened. Both sides would start talking tough and military forces would clash. If that's a situation that should be avoided, then yes, I suppose you could say that CU bases were sprouts of war.
Then, what do you think of Ruthabile's group from the ACR and the EOU Atlantic
Well, the
Fleet?
Atlantic Fleet came asking for a fight. If Ruthabile and the others didn't repel them, they'd advance into the Atlantic Spirit Field, maybe leading to a naval battle? If the Atlantic Fleet hadn't come, there would be peace, so the Atlantic Fleet was the sprout of war, right? In other words, it's the fault of whoever attacks first. If you stick to that argument, then we were the sprouts of war when we attacked the CU base on the Glass Sea. No. The sprouts of war were the guys who attacked by setting up bases on the World War relic. We weren't attacking, we were responding to an attack. Where does the blame for war?
Wouldn't that mean that the Atlantic Fleet was responding to an attack too?
While the AOU and the ACR... oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, sorry. While the AU and the ACR were still arguing over the Atlantic Spirit Field, the ACR one-sidedly cut off negotiations and occupied it using military force. Wouldn't that mean that both sides were sprouts of war?
Yeah. You're right, I'm not really sure anymore. If Ruthabile's group hadn't repelled the Atlantic Fleet, there's no telling what might have happened in the seas around the Atlantis Spirit Field. And the sense of the Atlantic Fleet was the spread of war. However, if the Atlantis Spirit Field hadn't been one-sidedly occupied, the Atlantic Fleet wouldn't have been called in to attack. In that sense, the mining base on the Atlantis Spirit Field is the sprout of war.
Lingji's Bible attack. Lingji's Baibao attacked the ABN mining machines that had started one-sidedly mining in the Kashmir Spirit Field. Oh, is my boy gonna finally realize praxis about the limited resources and shit? I'm holding out for my boy Meow. Right. Their positions was exactly opposite to Ruthabile's. According to any definition I can think of, one of them must have been in the...
Huh. So basically, you've been worrying about crazy stuff late into the night again, Meow. Well, compared to Jaden, who doesn't worry at all, there's some room to debate which of you is more a normal human being. Quiet, you... Still, I think I get what you're trying to say, yeah. If we don't get that straight, we might say we're guarding peace, but we can end up helping the exact opposite happen. Jaden, aren't we soldiers who serve under the AOU combined military? Well, yeah. When we take orders, it isn't our job to think about whether they're justified or not. Still, that doesn't mean we aren't guardians of the Wall of Peace, yeah? We're the second lieutenants in the AOU combined military, but we're also comrades defending peace across the world, not just the little organization called the AOU.
Thanks, Jaden. What I've been worrying about all this time is how to balance these two things. If they were given a mission that clearly contributed to peace, that wouldn't be no need to worry. However, going forward, they might be given missions that did the complete opposite.
The other day,
Ace Kete from 4 factions had succeeded in their operations. Meow's group from the AOU had destroyed a base that was being built on the Glass Sea. Weatherpow's group had instead defended their spirit field base.
Isn't it interesting though that how all those seemed relatively justified and right until you think about.
Yeah, because they're all in response to a limited energy. It's the same oil. It's the same warfare over like who gets to control the oil, basically, because it's a resource.
But it's also like, except for the exact opposite, because like Mia's group, like their attack was against the CAU for building that to do that, right? And same for one on Kashmir Spirit Fields, right? But the Atlantis Spirit Field was right. They'd already built it, so just a matter of time, and it becomes theirs in a way that people start to think is justified, right?
Yeah.
If any of those groups had succeeded for just a little more while, they, like, history would look at them as justified. And their defense of that.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Lingji's group from the CAU had attacked mining machines on their Spirit Fields base. Those 3 had taken place in disputed territory, but the mission carried out by Kalach Suif in the ABN had been to recover a leader of peace who had been taken in for questioning, penetrating into ACR territory to do so. All 4 factions claimed that they had done these things to pluck the sprouts of war. Of course, the aces who took part in them were also proud to have plucked the sprouts of war. That's what scares me.
Hypothetically, if you were given a mission that was to be AOU's benefit, but would clearly become a sprout of war, what would you do? Would you become one of those so-called conscientious objectors? In the AOU combined military, you were allowed to individually refuse a mission if it conflicted with your conscience or beliefs. However, in practical terms, doing so was almost suicidal, as you'd be labeling yourself as one unfit for society. Not only did becoming conscientious objector require quite a lot of complicated paperwork, but even if it was accepted, you would certainly be demoted or forced to accept a voluntary discharge. It would leave a heavy mark on your record, and even when applying for a job at most companies, you'd be blocked as early as an AI background check. In other words,
hooray for the military just immediately ruining your life.
Yeah, you can do it as they hold up a gun to your life.
Yep.
In other words, you wouldn't be able to find work through normal means. Rumor had it that you would also be placed on government and police watch lists, and at various times throughout your life, when security would normally allow people to pass right through, you would always be called to a stop and inspected.
How are we guardians of peace?
You've got a point. At this rate, our future lifestyles will be held hostage, and we'll be forced to go along with whatever the higher-ups say is justice. We didn't become Gotham Knights to get pushed around by old men. We did protect the walls of peace and bring peace to the world, right? I'm pretty sure I've heard you two say you became Gotham Knights because you wanted to fly. However,
Yeah.
your original aims don't matter at all.
Call him out, Gunhilda.
If you now realize that you stand at the peak of a world's military power, and maybe you should act for your own volition for the sake of world peace, then I think that means you've grown a lot as human beings. However, you should keep all this quiet. If Okanogi heard us talking about this, for example, there might even be an inquiry.
Achoo!
I get it. I realize that us talking about this is a seriously big deal. That's why I'm only saying this to Kete of War Cats I trust.
And if it's seriously a big deal, then bring it on. I'll always protect my friend's secrets. What you're saying is something I've been vaguely thinking myself.
We have too much power. That's something that we, the military, is using us. And everyone in the world at large doesn't understand. Gauntlet Knights are invincible. So no matter what sort of ridiculous mission we're given, we'll complete them. If that power is only used to properly pluck the sprouts of war, that's okay. However, given the current overexcited wartime mood, blindly believing that our missions always 100% justified is the same as abandoning our jobs as guardians of peace. That's what I think, at least. Moskablank says ban Gauntlet Knights for competition.
It'll create a new, healthier meta. It'll bring like tanks back into the meta. Exactly. I see. So that's why you started thinking about what we really mean by sprouts of war. If our mission is justified, then it's okay to get it done with 120% of our power. But if we found out that it isn't, then what? I see. So that's why you couldn't sleep. Okay, seriously, if we're given an unjust mission, what the hell do we do?
I want to form a chivalric order.
Chivalric order? Are you serious?
We'll be the Gauntlet Knights of the Bathtub.
The Gauntlet Knights of the Bathtub.
When Gauntlet Knights in this order are given missions and they judge that the actions included in those missions will contribute to supporting the world peace, they'll refuse to do them. They are literally one step away from just making a Gauntlet.
This game, huh?
Yeah.
So you're talking about becoming a conscientious objector? If you did that, you'd just be demoted, and a person who cared more about sucking up to the higher-ups would be put in your place. Oh, oops. What meow means is...
During our Glassy operation, our targets were unmanned anti-aircraft vehicles. We were told not to cause unnecessary casualties if possible, but since it was a military action, the option of eliminating those who got in our way was left on the table. Whether those middle-aged soldiers might have blown everything away, including the enemy troops, we accurately hit just their weak points, resulting in 0 human casualties.
That's true. For us, it is impossible to carry out our mission while also eliminating all unnecessary damage. I guess future technology will allow us to make and carry out war humanely. That will surely work out with our precision drone strikes.
I'm just saying, esports war game. But no one's on board with this.
First of all, we should probably organize ourselves and our societies in a way where we don't need to settle conflict in that way, or resources, or etc.
I know, right?
But I would say esports
cool.
is probably better than, murder.
Indeed. However, even so, it's possible we'll be given a mission However, even so, it's possible we will be given a mission which forces us to cause casualties. When that happens, members of the Order will prioritize being guardians of peace over being soldiers.
Wait, does that mean? That's quite an outrageous thing you've said. It was a shocking statement, one that would surely lead to an inquiry even if it was only rumored about. For soldiers say that he would sometimes refuse missions based on his own judgment of the situation. Well, considering the times, it wouldn't be strange for him to be arrested or shot. So if you were given an order where attacking actually meant giving birth to threats of war,
I would accept that mission as a soldier. However, as a guardian of peace, I wouldn't let it succeed.
our top ace meow, failing in a mission? Is that even possible?
We could talk our way around it in a bunch of ways by calling it an equipment malfunction or saying we screwed up. Anyway, we'll reduce the casualties from our attacks to as close to zero as
Also,
possible.
if you have a sick, VR Gauntlet Knight battles, you can explode the children and not even feel guilty. Fun for the whole family.
Oh god. What if we make VR Gauntlet Knight Sonas and it just becomes a whole
So
video
are
game?
we making Gauntlet Knight Sonas after this?
Oh no.
I think we got. I
Maybe.
think we're in the position where we have to. Okay,
Yep.
that's a thing. That's a thing we need to do.
Yep.
PG-13 weapons in PG-13 wars, wielded by PG-13 soldiers.
Oh my goodness.
Uh,
Alright, I already said this line. Next line. The best situation is when we're intercepted by a Gauntlet Knight from the opposing side. We can just make it look like the battle ended as a draw and we pulled out.
whoa, seriously? This is getting crazy.
However, when it's a mission where we can pluck sprouts of war, then of course we'll run wild without mercy.
I guess you'd suddenly saying crazy stuff was nothing new, man. You really are one crazy goddamn monster, aren't you? From the start, I always hated those middle-aged and old men who acted so important and only ever thought about themselves. That's why I thought...
I can totally see Jaden flying and making a jet cloud saying okay.
He kind of
Over,
did
a
that, though.
military
Remember, that's in his
base.
backstory.
I love him. He was Florida man. He even looks like it. He looks like a Florida man. Just replace his his brown pants with Daisy Dukes, and he's a Florida man.
Give him jean short shorts.
Yep. See, Cat
He
was
did.
where he drew a dick in the sky.
He did. Is it here still? However, following an incident where he drew an indecent picture of the color smoke over Florida while practicing for a flying exhibition, he had been permanently banned from flying over America itself. Cancelled.
Oh my god.
Cancelled for...
He probably flew over in Florida and says, remember to, he's pro-choice, or no, said a pro-choice statement.
Well,
over
what
Florida.
pro-choice? People don't have kids.
Oh, you're right. I keep forgetting.
Mpreg is allowed though, so...
I'm just trimming. He probably did. I could see him out in his final moments after doing that indecent picture he dabbed in the sky.
He definitely would. Okay. Still, the one thing I never liked was having to be absolutely beaten to their orders. And besides, our job is to support the walls of peace. It isn't to push them over to the other side.
Jaden!
I'm in, partner. I'll join your chivalric order. The truth is, even if I didn't like those enthusiastic, irresponsible people who thought war was a game of football or something, we gotta remind them that the real guardians of peace are us, the coolest thinking ones who actually have bullets and explosions raining down on some front lines. I gotta let the people know I'm the coolest and the sickest. Once in an era when armies fought to protect their national interests, it was accepted for them to harm the national interests of other countries. But the A3W world was different. Humanity was brought to the brink of destruction by a nuclear war. but then recovered. Just like our era. We've totally figured out it's not right to hurt other countries for our own interests. Surely we would not let billionaires coup other countries for access to lithium.
I know, right?
An enlightened era.
What? Oh, of course. What type of cringe lord person would do that and get away with it with people still adoring that person and thinking they're a genius?
And they formed a healthy military balance. Militaries around the world swore to support not only their national interests, but also the walls of peace along with their comrades under the battle standards of peace. And yet the old men of the military were still stuck in the B3W mindset that the only what was good for their country mattered, and they had mistakenly grown to think of the military as a tool to accomplish that goal. A3W militaries don't exist just to protect national interests, they have to be guardians of peace on top of that.
Okay, I just want to take a moment and say I like this idea. I like this concept of like a military society better than Metal Gear Solid. It has more fleshed out ideas. I'm gonna be real, this is a better story than Metal Gear Solid.
I have nothing else to say to that. But does it have a guy who shoots bee grenades though? Grenades made out of bees that explode into bees?
No, but it has a himbo with a leather vest midriff that calls himself Super Genius Jaden.
Okay, but Solid Snake calls himself Solid Snake.
God. No, you don't get it because it's because of the three phases, which is liquid, solid, and gas. But we don't talk about
ban
gas.
the Sea Cat Whisperer. Like, look at that spam. Disgusting, Mosca. Utterly irredeemable. But does the president have katanas, though? But do the robots move? Oh no, Mosca's making good points. I'm just saying, when Meow punches...
And secret societies, there are more secret societies in there are more secret societies in this game than Metal Gear Solid.
Okay, but real talk, when Meow fights the president who's dual wielding katanas, called Republican and Democrat, which I still can't get over. Sorry, his katanas are named Republican and Democrat.
And a vampire named Vamp who's a bisexual.
But he's not a real vampire, he's just horny, that's why they call him Vamp. But also he's a real vampire. But also it was just nanomachines and hypnotism.
All the supernatural elements of Metal Gear Solid was just nanomachines. That guy Ocelot never got possessed.
Okay, actually that wasn't nanomachines. That was Ocelot self-hypnotizing himself.
Like, that totally works. I still think that retcon makes no sense. Sometimes Metal Gear Solid has the weirdest retcons that did not have to happen.
It kind of fits together once, like, by the end of 4... Well, there's a lot of stuff that isn't explained.
4 is bad.
4 is bad.
That's my take.
But by the end of 4, it's like, oh, okay, I understand what you want, Ocelot, and I understand why you did everything. But this is the dumbest shit ever.
My boy a robot. They made my ace boy a robot, and I'm sad. Me writing a ninja robot, this is cool, but also it doesn't.
No, but it fits his character now, though.
Okay.
He suplexes Metal Gears and does the sick cutty thingy and eats the spines. It's fun.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Just the heavy feels.
The
of Metal Gear.
heavy feels.
We don't talk it.
All he wanted to do was watch King Kong with his girlfriend. All he wanted.
His government assigned girlfriend.
Sea Cat Whisper, while like a lot of the religious symbolism was put in there for no reason, it's surprisingly how appropriate some of those angel names and exactly how they interact with it works out better than it has any right to do. But yes, Ciconia is very good, and I like it a lot, and that's the reason I'm playing it, and I think it's fantastic, yes.
I'm sorry, Moscow Blanco, but that's my hot take. I don't like Metal Gear Solid 4.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is the best Metal Gear Solid, followed by 3.
Okay, I like 3 though too. 3 has a soft spot for
Yeah,
being like a B movie, while Metal Gear Solid 2 has like the interesting sci-fi stuff.
Ooh. Oh, that's a take. But by the way, that comic's also very good, Jupiter, so if you want to read it. Also, Moscow's just listening to all the comics I just read when I was like a tween or whatever. And like when I downloaded my first like comic book reader.
Right. Well, I'm gonna read the Changli Man. Moscow, you always have really good books to recommend, and I always need to check them out.
Moscow do have the good taste.
It's because they read a lot, and I have not read in years. I mean, I read, but I just don't read for entertainment for a while.
Like we also mentioned Acropractica and Blindside. Those are really good sci-fi novels. Like there's always like long series like In Search of Lost Time. I personally love A House of Dead Leaves, etc. Blah 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 blah. No, because that was before that came online, I think. So I was using a downloaded CBR reader and torrenting.
I've been just reading
Chainsaw Man do be good, but
be good. I'd be good. It'd be good sometime. All right. Okay, we're ready to continue off from our good tangent of sci-fi.
Okay, but so Meow's definitely gonna beat up the president of the AOU, right?
Which Meow?
No. We still need to work out the details, but I support Meow's establishment of Civic Order 2.
Gunhild! Thanks!
In this era where militaries are made of large numbers of people, the sense of justice held by a single soldier had no value, which is the excuse all soldiers have used to abandon their own sense of justice. However, we Gauntlet Knights are different, because even a single Gauntlet Knight is a military force. Right now, we need a stronger sense of justice and desire for peace than ever before. Can peace be protected by the determination of a single soldier? Can this prevent a world war? How can that be possible unless you're a president or a shogun? And yet it is. It was a single officer who refused to fire a nuclear torpedo in the Cuban Missile Crisis. If he hadn't resolutely refused, the Earth would have been wrapped in atomic fire well before the 21st century. Speaking of which, I remember watching Chernobyl with my father, right? And you know how if that situation got worse and they didn't deal with it properly, the radiation could have hit India and where he lived, right? And like he had no idea about that situation at all, right? Because you know he's just a farmer in India, right? And his family were just farmers in India.
Yeah.
So, like when we were watching that, he just had this weird moment of realization where it's like, oh my god, we could have all just died then.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so wild. I need to get around to watching Chernobyl because I heard like it's a pretty good drama. I remember seeing clips of it when my mom was watching
it. It's incredibly fascinating good. It takes a couple liberties. Its main one, it basically wraps around all the scientists working with you know, together into one character, right? So that's like its biggest single like, oh that didn't, right? Otherwise, it's incredibly solid. It's incredibly touching. It's realistic. It's fantastic. Literally, the only real complaint you can get that is like showing that as one person is probably not the weirdest way to do that, but also time consuming, etc. And if they could have dubbed it in actual Russian, right, and have it subbed instead, or get Russian actors, that would have been But otherwise, it's fantastic.
Yeah, sweet. Well, Skabonga says there's a good line from Days of American Pro Criminal goes, when you stop going, holy shit, I almost died, you're done. Because you get sense, because your sense gets dulled. You get more risk
Yep.
prone. Huh.
It isn't impossible for one soldier to stop a world war.
If the order only has us three in it, it won't mean anything. Its power will only be massive if we expand it a lot more. You need all the Gauntlet Knights and candidates who meet at the public bath to agree on it.
If Gauntlet Knights around the world agree to it, there's no way the walls of peace will shake. After all, no matter what sprouts of war pop up, at least one of the Gauntlet Knights will pluck it. And when there are missions where they themselves will become sprouts of war, let's screw up on purpose or lose. We'll eradicate the sprouts of war. It's actually a lot like what Jaden bragged about earlier, about forming an army of peace out of the Gauntlet Knights across the planet.
I think a lot of my inspiration came
Inspired
from
from the essence of Himbo.
Yep. However, an army of peace won't mean anything unless Gauntlet Knights around the world participate. At worst, that army itself might become a sprout of war.
In practical terms, this is like a coup d'etat. It's by itself, it's practically World War IV already. But if we're secret chivalric order, we'll be able to act quietly. It won't become a sprout of war.
Oh, Gunhild just kind of repeated what Tojiro said, where it's all like, it's begun, it's already ended.
Is Gunhild the mole?
Sort of.
Oh.
Oh. No, not Gunhild. I actually like her.
Which of these characters do you not like? Which character do you like the least to be the mole?
I kind of like all of them. The thing.
What if Meow is the mole and Meowth and G-Meow are just in for the ride? Oh.
Oh God.
The
That'd
wildest
be so wild.
lore, deepest lore. And even if only some of us agree to do whatever they can, we'll still be able to do something for the walls of peace.
That's right. Of course, the more people we have, the better. But we can still do a little, even if just some of us
Just
agree.
casually listen to this, it sounds like you're saying a bunch of crazy, outrageous crap. However, that's proof that we've been bound by old values and have abandoned being guardians of peace. It's different from my idea, but if I gave you the inspiration, I guess I really am a super genius.
The young are the main characters of any era, right? If we drag our heels waiting to change the era after all the old guys have gone, then we'll be middle-aged or geezers ourselves. When that happens, we'll already be in an era that's different from the one we know, and what we're trying to do might be off the mark. So, now is the time. We need to have a strong resolve if we're going to protect peace ourselves.
Seacat Whisper. One of your crazy theories is Seshat equals Gunhild. Oh my god.
Oh goodness. Oh god. But she's not wearing the mom jeans, so how could she be?
Seshat's trying to sneak into wherever, but her mom jeans are too.
Yeah. Too powerful. I'm thinking of like my ass clapped with.
I'm trying to
jeans.
figure it out.
I'm
I'm trying to figure out
my
a wordplay with that. This is all crazy talk anyway, but will
Oh, it's
anyone
just
other than us read it? What about Grave Mole think? Actually, this all seems so interesting, so I just told Chloe about it while we were talking in another room. She seemed interested, so should I let her enter this room?
Sure, I don't mind. Okay, gotta do
Chloe has
voice.
entered the
All right,
room,
Chloe,
Cleo.
I think is the
Chloe's your highest voice in the series.
I thought the same thing. This whole time, I've been thinking that the kinds of armies our higher ups weren't real.
What? How I'm starting with
You
my
can change the voice.
All right. Yeah.
I thought the same thing. This whole time, I've been thinking that
that the kinds of armies or higher-ups want aren't really guardians of the walls of peace. I support Meow's order and want to join
What if
it.
Chloe's the mole?
I would not be surprised if Chloe's the mole. I feel it. Militaries always declare that they'll protect peace for their homeland. At least that's how it was supposed to be up until the end of the B3W era. Now in the A3W era, militaries have no friends or foe. They're all comrades who support the walls of peace.
At the start of the A3W era, during the prime of a generation that had experienced a world-destroying war, this philosophy held a lot of sway. However, as peace continued, they started competing in battle standard festivals where militaries fought over battles for their own countries against each other. The military started to view as organization for surpassing other countries. So a lot of irresponsible people were now carefully driving their country's militaries towards war. Think of it like a sports competition. It was a time of military to return to the original philosophy, that of being guardians to support the walls of peace.
What Meow's saying isn't sabotage. It certainly isn't a coup d'etat. It's a naturally justified thing. An attempt to once again follow our true principles as guardians of peace, which people have forgotten because peace continued for so
I
long.
love her little, cross-eye emoji in that, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to like a little bit of a whiny voice.
It
It
gets it across perfectly.
Yeah.
Chloe can be surprisingly fiery.
She's really interested when she gets excited. The circle of this order doesn't just involve all of the AOU. We're going to the COU and the ABM and the ACR and LATO. All our comrades wearing gauntlets on their left arm should participate. Yes, everyone who gathered at the public bath should support it. And when everyone makes another oath, this time to form a chivalric order, we Gauntlet Knights will bear witness to humanity's first establishment of peace brought about by the hands of young people, the true main characters of the era. Long live Batake Ryao chivalric order! Long live Grandmaster
She's
Batake
getting a bit too
Ryao.
into it.
Huh. No. You're getting too excited. Calm down a bit.
I'm glad you feel that way, Chloe, but will the other two in Great Mole agree?
They did agree.
I made them agree. Look at this face. Look at the power in this expression.
It's something, alright. I won't let them complain, and they didn't.
Koshka has entered the room, Poyo. Lilia has entered the room, Poyo.
So basically, it's a chivalric order. That means it's okay to skip work sometime.
We'll get to take it easy, so we'd like to join this order too, meow.
This isn't an order for slacking off! It's an order for truly protecting peace by proactively refusing jobs that go against
So
peace.
basically, whenever Chloe orders to slack off, we can do whatever we want. Oh, Koshka's a nincompoop, so I'm sure she'll hold back in ways to make it obvious she's slacking off, meow. I'll tell her onto her to Okinogi and she'll get in big trouble, meow.
I'm slyer than I look. And if you do a bad job at holding back, Lilia, I'll tell on you to Okinogi right away.
Oh, and if Chloe does a bad job holding back, I'll tell on her to Okinogi too, meow.
If Chloe screws up, I'll tell on her to Okinogi right away too.
Why am I the only one they're both focusing on? She would seriously agree to support us?
What do you mean by seriously, meow? Depending on what they get you with, you might have to go through an inquiry.
Let them do it if they want. I'm droid.
And property has more rights than humans.
I get killed every time I go in for maintenance.
Oof.
Oh.
Oh.
Oof.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
Can't escape the body horror. Poor Koshka.
Koshka.
Koshka deserves the world.
Oh, wait, skip.
Nothing scares me now, except when the OS gives itself a forced update partway through a limited time one on Dora
She deserves the good roles. And if it's not scary at all to me compared to the thought of Koshka waking up some morning as a super beautiful girl who doesn't use hick words and doesn't have bed hair, meow.
What are you talking about? You're the one who always has bed hair.
I don't want to hear from that girl who sometimes has sweet potato fries and
Kick
biscuit
dance.
crumbs in her hair, meow. Give her...
Hey, you two! We're talking about something serious, so please listen!
Wanna have a go? Wanna have a go?
The next instant, the avatar is buzzed and warped. It looked like the result of extreme electrical noise. Apparently, Chloe had been pushing their punishment button.
We're talking about something serious. Please listen to me.
Enough with the shocking.
Lilia, Koshka, you're both in a sensitive position, right? I'm glad you've agreed to join, but it might be awful if this gets out.
I won't let those annoying middle-aged guys and old
Like,
men
how
have
much
their
worse
way.
can it get, though?
Yeah, I mean, they literally dissect her.
If I can do that even a little, then it's more than interesting enough for me.
This isn't just some prank. Do you really understand that?
No, we don't, meow. Koshka and I are stupid, after all. So we don't know what we should do or how. Because we're stupid. Mew.
That's what you thought it up for the sake of us idiots, right? A way to make the world peaceful and happy. We don't get what sprouts of aura or how to deal with them. But if you tell us, there are things we can do.
What our targets are, how to attack them, what not to attack. We'll leave all the hard stuff like that to Chloe, meow. Seriously, it really is hard for you two to be honest about how you feel.
These two have also suffered under this unfairness for a long, long time. They know there are a lot of bad adults out there who use them, who use children as food. Of course, they don't believe in that sort of peace those adults spouted. But for now, for the first time, we've heard young people we can trust calling for peace.
Yeah, what she said. If you give me 5 slimy rares, I'll give you 10 scallop candy. Oh, sorry, wrong chat.
So much.
She's super great. Chloe, I'm in the middle of a battle with this hick girl, so can we leave for a bit, meow?
Yeah, that's enough. Thanks for supporting us.
Supporting us, these children who know the unfairness of the world, who Chloe keeps shocking into submission. Lilia and Koshka have left the room, Poyo.
Sorry, I just muted myself because it's getting a little rainy here on my end. Because of their personalities, it's impossible for those girls to say what they really think. Still, they were really moved by what you said. Meow.
Yeah, Chloe and Lily are on the gotcha hell, but when does the when they cry gotcha drop?
Yeah, they're like, you know what? I'm down to watch these old men to like mess with these old dudes to watch them suffer. I think it'd be hilarious.
Is that so?
Yes.
Concerning their personalities, the very fact that they showed up at all tells us that. And they were even in the middle of a game.
I see.
Oh yeah, there was a Higurashi one. Like, what rarity is my disemboweled Rika?
Oh no. I see. You have a point there. Koshka and Lilia hate adults, and this was honestly
Yeah.
relatable. So they also hate it when adults talk about justice and peace. I think that's why they're really happy when one of their comrades, Meow, showed them the way towards justice and peace.
Truly Meow will know the best answer for every situation. Obviously. If that's true, they could at least said it. Without Chloe's translation, we'd be clueless. If you're thinking Kazuna can translate all emotions, I suppose that means you're still super kid Jaden.
You totally super kid Jaden.
Meow, she may not look it, but Chloe really does have her act together. She told those two because she's very confident that they would support us if she did. There's no need to worry about them being loose-lipped or misunderstanding.
That's not what I was thinking. I think I just blanked out because I was happy or surprised or confused. I mean, as soon I announced that I'd be making a Shivla order, we suddenly got 6
Hey,
members.
since my idea was the inspiration for it, that means I get to give the order a name, right?
Huh? I'm the one who proposed it. I made this chivalric order. So I get to name it.
It's a super ultimate, peaceful, great, marvelous,
It's the Dark Shadow Silent Justice Hammer Holy Sword of Justice.
What are these names? Jupiter. What are these names?
I don't know. This is like full. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I'm bad with naming stuff too. So
Me
I'd be
too.
like, the
The
burrito,
burrito
gang is
gang.
like the thing that would come off my mind.
This will just be one of the things where we just call it the Order of the Public Bath, temporary name, and it just ends up becoming its real name. The Order of the Public Bath.
I got close. I was like, nice.
The Public Bath. Yeah, you were in there.
Bathtub.
That name's so wonderful. It makes me want to leave right now. Now, Meow, I'm sorry to rain on your parade, but one thing we should decide is our policy going forward. First, we should decide on who's qualified to join. If everyone invites whatever friends they want, not only will they get out of control, but considering the type of order this is, it will make joining extremely risky.
I understand that. I'm confident that this order will be able to contribute to protecting world peace. However, as it is a secret order, I think we should reveal it only to people we can trust.
Yeah. If everyone joined, that'd be kinda uncool. If we want only let vetted people join, then it's probably best for a leader. Meow is the only one who recruits people directly.
I guess we'll do it like that for now. Still, nominations are
Just an
welcome.
example, if aces from other factions agree to join, it might be best to delegate the job of recruitment to some of them too. We can leave the decision to Grandmaster Meow's judgment. Grandmaster Meow? I like the sound of that. Woo, you're so cool.
Don't make fun of me. For the COU, I'd like to talk with Ling Ji.
For the ACR, I guess it'd be Rethabile.
Ling Ji and Ruthbal are leaders, after all. If they agree, things will move quickly.
Still, if they're in different factions, that means they'll think about things differently too. For example, Rethabile is an ACR princess, right? If we ask a princess to prioritize world peace by sometimes turning a blind eye to ACR defeats, will she really agree?
By the way, I'd like you to notice something. All 6 of the AOU aces have joined, right? The order. We already have it confirmed that at least one of them is a mole. So all the information about this is already out. Yep.
I bet you it's Chloe. No, we don't trust Chloe.
All right. Well, we'll see if it's Chloe. You're locking in your bet?
I'm betting 50 clams here. 50 clams of clam chowder. It's Chloe.
I know the answer, so I can't bet. I guess I'll just get the clams if you lose.
Yes.
Meow.
These imaginary 50 clams that I've put on the table.
Meow. In the It's a Wrap public bath, there are no social classes or nationalities. We're just a group of young Comptonites who love to fly, right?
You're right. If I think this might not work before I even tell them about it, I'll fail as a leader of an order working towards
From what I've seen of Ruthbill, she's a woman with a positive attitude. She's pretty good at being understanding. I'm pretty sure she'll listen seriously to what we have to say.
And as for Ling Ji, I've been exchanging emails with her now. She's an incredibly serious person. So I'm sure she'll listen to us.
So she's your type, huh, yeah? You little rascal.
Hey, it's not like that. Stop playing it.
I get it. In that case, shouldn't we invite the ABN and those big sisters from later too?
For the ABN, I guess it'd be Stalin's.
Stanislaw?
Stanislaw?
But he seems kind of cold, or maybe like he'd just ignore us.
I've been emailing him recently, and he too has been worrying over what he can contribute to world peace. I'm absolutely certain that he won't ignore you. Wait, you too, Gunhild? So you like a cool-headed man like that, huh? Looking at his Kazuna wallpaper, I realized that we share the same hobbies and taste in music. I'm currently in the process of inviting him into my order of the blood-vomiting death growls.
Oh, yes, Gunhild is like a death metal.
Didn't you say your hobby is making cute felt
You
crafts?
really have to admire the range of Gunhild's hobbies.
In that case, I guess I'll ask you to recruit Stout.
Roger that. I'm sure he'll listen to us. And he's wise, so I'm sure he'll give us good advice.
All that's left are the big sisters from Leto. They're older, so it feels a bit awkward to invite them.
I think you're misunderstanding them. Both Valentina and Mari Carmen are surprisingly friendly and understanding once you get to know them. How do you know that? I've been exchanging personal emails with the two of them lately.
Oh?
So you're into the big sister type, Jaden? You little rascal.
Did he something meow?
No. I said nothing.
And so the Order of the Public Bath, temporary name, gained the approval of both Warcraft and Gravemole, so easily that it's surprised. Oh, this is your line.
And so the Order of the Public Bath, a temporary name, gained the approval of both Warcat and Gravemole so easily that it surprised even me. Going forward, we should probably judge the situation carefully and reach out to other Kete in the AOU. However, the most vital part of this is our comrades in other factions. If we can get people in all factions to support us, the Order of the Public Bath, temporary name, will be able to support the Walls of Peace even more strongly. There is no way we'll do the bidding of these overexcited adults, becoming game pieces in wars.
You aren't the only main characters in this world. We young people are the main characters. We've had enough being game pieces that just move when someone orders us. We'll think this through on our own, moving for the sake of world peace. That's what the Order of the Public Bath, temporary name, does. We really need to think of a better name fast. If this name sticks, that'd just be too uncool. I say that, but the room name It's a Rat Public Bath still exists to this day. I get the feeling I've started something incredible. But still, right after I heard Dad was in a Shivlik order, I started copying him, didn't I? It's embarrassing, so I guess I'll keep it a secret from him. He probably already knows, given the mold.
Looks like the meow started saying something weird again. I'm not sure how much this experiment will affect the current situation, but if we want to crush it, it should be easy to do with a single tip-off. As you said, Jestress, I think it should be okay to let them run with it for some time being. It might be possible to make use of this. For now, I'll wait to see what happens while pretend to approve of Meow's chivalric order. All in the name of guiding humanity down the right path. That was most like...
It is, so is the way.
Yeah.
Or something.
So, that was a chapter. Oof.
Yep. Almost goes to, sir, I'm trying to sneak into the enemy base, but my mom genes make me dummy thick, and I keep falling the European extreme.
So, do you want to keep going, or are you feeling like,
I can keep going. Oh, thank you, Mosca Blanca, that you like my take on Chloe. I was...
Oh, yeah, your Chloe's
ball of anxiety.
Excellent, and the really whiny thing really comes across super well.
Thanks. Her voice is probably the hardest one.
Okay, so we're gonna go for some for a while longer. All right, let's get going.
We can go for like one more chapter. I'm down for
the
that.
entirety of what we just did was one chapter.
Well,
okay.
I'm down with another chapter then. All right.
This isn't about what's about to happen. You've got to think of it this way. We're gonna make something happen.
We're getting ever closer to this.
This very well clip art assembled Doomsday.
By the way,
have
you look at all those letters there? Surely there's not a code or something to translate that.
Oh God. You're so cute, Meow. So, right after I talk to you about chivalric orders, you make one yourself, even though you're constantly making fun of me. You really are adorable. Oh, Meow. No, I don't mind it at all. Meow, though... Meow thought it up himself and is taking action on his own. Let him do as he please. That's true enough. This might become a problem if anyone hears about it. But there's no need to worry. Very soon, they'll be so busy that none of this will matter.
15 minutes have passed, Poyo. Kitty.
Sorry, it's time for me to go back to work. Thanks for telling me. I know. I love you.
When Tojiro cleared the mid-air chat display, countless mid-air displays appeared around him, as if they had been waiting for him. They all seemed to be broadcasting news from around the world. The other day, simultaneous use of military force had occurred all around the world, an opinion that we also mustn't hesitate to use military force to solve our various problems had grown strong everywhere. Countless news reports from various countries bearing this message appeared. Human emotions, and the emotions of the groups of humans called societies, slosh about like waves. Even if all averages out on a grand scale, it will sometimes shift to the right or the left. If this happened in one country, well, this is a planet with 10 billion people on it. Such a thing would hardly be impossible. So even when the world looks peaceful as a whole, the motions of one nation sometimes shift drastically to the side. He does do the Ozymandias thing.
Walker says, yeah, he does.
His entire thing about, it isn't the beginning of the end, right? It's already ended is basically the equivalent of, I did it already, right? He's no Republican, zero villain.
Yeah.
However, the countless news stories being shown here made it clear that places around the world were simultaneously catching fire, and the entire globe was enthusiastically saying that even war wasn't off the table. If you roll a large number of dice, it isn't strange you get a few ones in there. However, when all the dice rolls are dice rolls, it is fair to suspect that someone's behind it. Someone. Fundamentally, though, it's mathematically possible that all of them will roll ones. It is impossible from the perspective of animals known as humans. This is because humans are built with a divine program that makes universal agreement impossible. The world where Rika rolled all sixes. But was it really her? Humans are animals that live in societies. Because of this, their animal instincts encourage them to follow society's viewpoint, also known as the majority. When multiple conflicting views clash with each other, the human intellect is able to function, and it is possible for them to make calm, rational decisions. However, at the peak of such clashes, if one side relents even little and is suddenly overwhelmed, peer pressure takes over and society's will can be overridden in a flash. And yet, humans aren't lemmings. If anyone followed every group that started running off in some direction, even if it was off a cliff, they would have gone extinct long ago. By the way, the actual lemmings don't do that. That's just a weird thing that everyone thinks for some reason that I don't remember.
That came from like a weird Disney documentary where like these people made all these lemmings.
Oh,
cliffs
that sounds like something people would do.
to make the documentary more interesting. Yeah. I don't know if the lemmings actually died or if they had like a net on that cliff and they weren't able to die. I don't know. I think this is before
They definitely
animal
killed
rights
those
under
lemmings.
film.
Come on. Would they bother with the net?
Yeah, they probably did. I don't even
Exactly.
think so. They probably don't. Yeah, because it's probably before animal rights was a thing for, like, film
This is because
production as
God's
well.
program has always called for a certain number of people to be born with genes that make them resent universal agreement, aka the majority. Surely this must be a survival program God made for the sake of preventing human extinction. Haven't you ever found it strange when looking at video upload sites? Setting aside videos with split opinions, no matter how adorable a video about an animal is, no matter what wonderful, irreproachable actions a video contains. In other words, no matter how perfect a video is, 5% to 20% of viewers will always reject the opinion of those who like it. On the flip side,
Yeah, because
no matter how
exist.
contemptible a video is, you always find it get about 5 to 20% of people liking it. Insert that one free Ransona that talks about how pedophilia is okay and that we should bring child labor back.
Oh God, what? What? I'm not. I don't know if you're not joking. I know this is.
No,
this
I
actually
hope they'll
real.
bring the image of that specific Ransona to mind because it's kind of a meme. The blue dragon, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I know. I've had some furry friends dunk on him, and it's pretty fun. Like that guy's got bad taste.
That transcends bad takes.
Yeah. I was thinking of the other meme where people are like, Antilion looks like one of the Ransonas. It's like, oh no, it died.
Which of our children here is the most likely to have a Ransona?
I don't want to believe it, but I feel like Koshka might do it for the
No,
shits and
Koshka's too
giggles.
lazy to do it. Lilia would do it.
Oh yeah, Lilia. I feel like Tojiro would do it, but like
Totri
he'd create like his own VR Sona to not show his something like that. Maybe.
No, I
just to,
feel like Tojiro would be a VTuber. He'd be a VTuber.
He'd be a VTuber. I can see that. Yeah, Meow is the cat tuber. The cat.
Just give me 1 second.
Koshka is probably a gacha streamer. No, Koska spends hours playing Pog. Yo, do
Okay,
you
I'm
need
back.
to leave early? Cause I'm also down. Yo, do you need to leave early? Cause I'm also down to end it. Cause I need to end it within I think 5:50. So another hour for me. I can go for another hour.
Let's
I have,
go for 1
meeting
hour then, I
at
guess.
6. Okay, sweet. Cause I don't want to take up too much of your time as well. Since we decided to go a little
Yeah,
extras.
it's fine. So let's that's about fine.
Oh god, Muscoblock says Tojo will be on TikTok, and then Muscoblock says I feel Jaden has stream energy.
Jaden definitely has stream energy.
I feel like
1 second.
I feel like Koshka might be a Pog YouTuber. She has Pogs, and she's just like, look at this, it's a rare one. And she doesn't even play Pog; she just collects. I feel like she's a collector for no, Koshka does unwrapping videos.
Yeah.
Koshka unwraps box toys.
I can see that actually.
It's unboxes toys and does kind of a weird ASMR. I feel would have the ASMR. Rutha Bile is a Just Dance YouTuber or Just Dance streamer.
No, because Respal would need to hide her identity considering she's a princess, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. So she would be a VTuber.
So the Respal Tojiro collaboration. Is Respal the real mole?
Oh god. I think I was just a centrism training video.
Sponsored by the Three Kings.
Sponsored by the Three Kings. Muska says Koshka only has a win.
Yeah, that works out. That checks out.
God. I can see it.
No.
Oh god.
Okay, so back to this. However, research at the end of the B3W uncovered something interesting. When the people took a sample of those evil people and had them watch and rate videos that they had no ratings for, it became clear that several of them had a surprisingly similar standard to the majority. In other words, they sometimes acted according to the second standard, which took priority over their honest opinion of the video's contents. And that was a dislike for society's opinion, or the majority view. There are those so-called lone wolves, and whenever crowd forms, that's all the reason they need to dislike it. Even normal people who aren't aware of this tendency should be able to notice it if they think about it. Just give me 1 second.
No worries. So everyone, how's your day going? I'm going a little fine. Been a little low today, but I'm having fun reading this VN with y'all. It's very fun. Yo, glad you're having fun, Seacat Whisper. Oh, congrats on your first week of school for the semester, Mocha Blanca. Hope it goes well for you. I hope the rest of the week goes well. I hope quarantine has not made it too difficult for school and everything for ya.
Okay, how do I just stop this from, Sorry, I was just because the VTuber joke, I was like, what if I just became a VTuber now?
You should become a VTuber. I will help you design VTuber.
Yes, I'm a VTuber now, but I'm trying to, how do I... Switch to advanced UI. Advanced record video. What is the thing that just makes it disappear?
Oh, the what?
Hide interface. Okay. Perfect. So yes, I am now a VTuber. I've grown strong and powerful. The amazing, godlike.
Congrats. Wait, let me see.
Oh.
So cute.
Yep.
I love
This
her.
is just a workshop model, but it's pretty cool, right? Okay. Yep. My expressions are still pretty monotone because that's just how my face is.
Hey, sometimes it's just hard to rig it, and facial cam can be very wonky. Sometimes, especially if you have a darker skin tone, or you just not European-centric faced. It happens.
All right, so big VTuber energy now. Gotta bring it. Say so. Stuff. Have you ever liked something, then suddenly lost interest when it became popular and famous? When you hear on TV that X has become all the rage, and has that ever been enough to make you start hating it? This can be thought of as a part of God's program, a failsafe that prevents animals known as humans from committing mass suicide like lemmings and going extinct.
It's the galaxy brain.
It's the centrism galaxy brain. No matter what sort of groupthink you're dealing with, people programmed with God's failsafe will resist it, and will do so even more when groupthink is at large scale and firmly entrenched. The smaller a minority you're in, the more firmly you'll refuse to join the majority. Such people are famous for not losing their sense of justice during totalitarian dark ages. Perhaps the officer who firmly refused to fire the nuclear torpedo also had God's failsafe inside him. As a side note, all that about lemmings committing mass suicides is a myth. However, majority mistakenly think that it's true, and a large number of people say it's true, so nearly everyone believes it without any doubt. Perhaps the person who did doubt and who proved the lemmings' mass suicides were only a myth was also someone programmed with God's failsafe. The existence of these minority failsafes is a serious eyesore to dictators planning totalitarian societies. It wouldn't be exaggeration to say that nearly all of their inhumane political pressure is used to remove these elements. Furthermore, these failsafes resist even more as their numbers dwindle. Eradicating them has proved difficult even for the worst dictators in history. On top of that, God's program is designed to replenish the number of failsafes when it decreases. Some animals are known for the ability to change genders when all members of one gender disappear. In the same way, when failsafes are eradicated from society, it is natural for some in the majority to transform into failsafes themselves.
Wait a minute, but what about the lizards? There's literally a species of lizards where they're all female
Yeah.
and they can just reproduce.
There's a bunch of animals that just clone themselves. Yeah.
Yep.
There's animals that do both. There's animals with like 72 genders.
Labs.
Like, which worm has it that has 72 genders? Because it has 72 genders.
I know also just mushrooms, because of the way they reproduce, technically, create their own genders sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Almost like it says there's bacteria.
Viruses
that does that to
just infect your cells and cause them to make more viruses for itself. It's just like, yeah, this factory's mine now. Yep.
Yep.
For that reason, no matter how many purges dictators initiate, they have never been able to eliminate all failsafes. However, right now, in this world, no failsafes exist, yet there aren't any people converting into failsafes either. Everyone eagerly and unthinkingly agrees that their many problems should be solved all at once with war. No one has an opposing view. Why is that?
Big. It's a bug. Program now. Humanity. Taking advantage of that bug. So, using news and
Just give me 1 second as well. Sorry about that.
no worries. I'm not gonna lie, now that Reina has her own YouTuber, now I'm tempted to. I'm tempted to make my Well, time to get into 2D rigging and stuff. Mosca Blanca, since what is land pill? I need you to explain that to me because I haven't used that form of, I haven't heard of that type of pill yet. Please, we have time. I would appreciate if you could explain me what land pilled means because I feel like it does fit the character. I just. Oh, Nick Land. Okay, now I know who that is. Yes, Mosca Blanca. I know the accelerationism of Nick Land and how he's basically a white supremacist. No, wait. I don't know if he's the explicit white supremacist dude. No. Okay, yep, knew him. Yep, okay, sweet.
Okay, so I'm back now. Sorry about that. So what are we talking about now?
Oh, Mosca Blanca says like Totoro is now being land pilled, and honestly it fits. And I asked what is land pilled, and they said like in to Nick Land's philosophy as a CCRU adjacent.
Okay,
and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Right.
Also, I also your VTuber is so adorable.
Oh,
I'm tempted to make my
yeah, time for the big VTuber collaborations. We yeah, that we can do that. It'll be great.
Most says he's racist, definitely maybe not supremacist since everyone dead. Okay, so he's like eco-fash racist than
totally.
Blanca. I feel like that's even worse.
Then all you need to give them is a decoy, an illusion that a certain minority already exists. When people mistakenly think that a sufficiently large minority exists, then humans can join the majority without hating themselves for it.
Wait, what? That was such a galaxy brain take.
So basically, essentially, he's creating a false flag operation where he's like, you know, like how a lot of right wingers will go like, oh, look at all these horrible leftist people doing all this terrible stuff. We are in the correct. Essentially, if you create a minority, it's particularly one that you make reprehensible, that no one will be like, I'll join that minority, even if they do have misgivings with the majority, right? So instead, you create a false one, right? That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Rikuchi with the big galaxy brain takes.
Yep. Total. We're getting deep in the conspiracy, making me be like, how many conspiracies are we? Is he talking to another conspiracy secret society?
Or is he just monologuing?
Yeah, that's the real thing. If that's his mind monologuing, then I'm like, you know what? That's really interesting that like all of a sudden he starts going into a fail-safe.
Particularly because he mentions God's plan particularly a lot.
Mosca Blanca says, honestly, he sounds so much like Lan, I can't unsee it. Mosca Blanca, I have not read his work, so I'll take your word for it. He even looks like the demographic. Oh, God.
He does. Also, another thing, think about it. You know, one of the things it said in the beginning, this work has no relation to Vatican Document 34.
Yes.
And with all the things about God and 34.
Oh.
Is God involved? Is this actually a religious conspiracy?
Is this just another branch of the Knights Templars, or
is God real?
Vatican. God is dead, for we have killed him, though.
If only. If only. You know.
Mosca says alien god time traveler. Okay, but you're just making this Doom now, or Dune.
So you gonna say this line?
All right. In commercials for makeup and such, there's always talking about their customer satisfaction rate.
You never see that it's 100%. If a commercial did claim to have 100% satisfaction rate, people would think it sounded fake. And they'd be struck by an emotion that makes it impossible for them to confirm. However, when the satisfaction rate is 80%, it suddenly feels different. 8 out of 10 people like it? That's pretty awesome. You know there's always 1 or 2 people out of 10 who disagree about anything, right? All you need to do is show people that apparently a few percent aren't satisfied with the majority. Then if you really want to seal the deal, you just need to spice up this decoy minority with characteristics and events that make them detestable by the values of the common man. For example, maybe they aren't satisfying their societal duty. For example, maybe they aren't satisfying their societal duty. It can be about taxes, military service, legal rules. Anything you like. Just establish them as cheaters who refuse the burden shared by others, or else say they were given special exemption. After all, after that, have them reveal their views emotionally in a way that's done more sense grounds, and then establish that the overbearing way they made their case ended up involving in harm, say, an innocent child. Right, you already have a society of child soldiers. I don't know if people care about children that much.
But it also depends on which faction it is, because apparently the CUU does, but it also doesn't.
True.
It also, because think about it this way, in a lot of cases, depends on the stratification of societies and the people who actually have power, because lower classes and people without much actual pull and who had to spend most of their time daily worrying about their own survival or things affecting them personally, don't have much sway in the actual going on of the world.
Yep. It's almost like people need to seize the means of production or something.
The decoys, these fictional minorities, can then be loaded up with the many established facts, all of which will easily cause disgust in any normal person. Hey, doesn't this describe the way they described all the people who worked toward world peace before World War III?
Oh my god.
Naturally, the people will grow to fiercely hate these decoys. And at the same time, because they'll know that these decoys fill the necessary number of minorities that humans desire on an animal level, God's program won't activate and convert them into minorities.
One can conceive of techniques for attacking the fragility of God's program, overriding public opinion, both overwhelming thoroughness.
Because as the anarchist and
True. One conceives of techniques for attacking the fragility of God's program over and it is the power of Matake Tojuro Shil, the order that can both create and enact such techniques.
Those minority decoys will float to the surface of the sea of information provided by the media, and the internet thoroughly standing out because of their unacceptable views. And when the people see them, they will go mad with rage and stone them. After all...
Okay, the media already does this with furries, though.
Yeah. And not even the Nazi furs. Just the random people who just want to hang out or have the sex.
No, or they'll go for like the people, the furries who have like suits where they're like, yes, I have sex with a dude. Yep.
Which, fine. Nothing wrong with that.
I had not made that connection for that.
And after all, these people don't exist. They're just decoys. No matter how much you hit them, they'll never cave. They'll never sink or stumble. No matter how many people try to dox them, they'll never be exposed, so they can never be pinpointed and cannot be killed. You can leave it to AI to travel across the countless message boards and set them aflame, and when media picks it up, they can give that information brand recognition, and it will spread even further.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, remember all the guffaws we had about Russian trolls? And that is not the reason the American election went the way it did, but remember all the guffaw we had about that? Yep.
Yep.
If you're even more clever, you can plan it out all those fires, setting up a beautiful chain of dominoes. Then when your artistic worldwide domino setup is complete, they'll all start falling at once, beginning the chain. The people of the world see the war is approaching, and they whisper as though this is the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end, you're behind the times.
God, somewhere like out there are a lot of like, what are they called? Doom preppers, just stocking up on everything.
Like, we've had this through a lot of history where, like, yeah, Ragnarok's gonna happen, you know, the return of Jesus Christ, it's gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
I mean, I remember people were like 2015 is the end of the world.
Yeah. Hey, you know what end of the world thing is super real, though? Global warming, climate change. Guess which one out of all of these we don't take seriously enough?
I know, right?
The thing is, there are actually a lot of Doomsday preppers who do prepare for that. But have you ever, like, a lot of rich people, like, there was this tech guy who isn't that important, but because the way he talked about the connections he had, he actually got called as to by like council of a bunch of rich people to act and like as an advisor to like what they should do with like everything that's happening. And like none of them believe they can fix the world anyway. They believe it's doomed. They don't believe they can change the course. They're more interested in trying to invent immortality and how to make sure the guards stay loyal, or inventing robots to take care of them when everything inevitably goes wrong.
It's so weird. It's like you
have all of it. You can just decide to fix things right now.
I think that's why I kind of like. I know like there's some missions in like Hitman 3 I heard where they're like you're just straight up like killing off these people who are like Doomsday prepper, like rich people who literally could just change the world but are like hoarding their resources. And you're just killing them and hijack and like infiltrating their like security Doomsday bases to just be like, look here, Buster, you're not as safe as you think.
Evie did an excellent stream of Hitman 2 of the final level of the like, super asshole rich people, and I was just cheering her on, just being like, yeah, kill them all, kill every single one of them. No stealth.
Oh God, Moscow. God.
Okay, so back to her.
I'm this close to writing like my own sci-fi where I'm like, oh, these rich people try to escape to like this society, and still the people left behind are trying to are all the rich people leave, and all these people from like poverty and are just trying to like band together and actually make the world better now that all like the people hoarding the wealth gone.
Oh, see, like, you are a way more positive person than mine, because my horrible like fiction that I've written was like, oh yeah, no, immortality exists, it's cost prohibitive, and so only the rich people have it, and so the entire world is engineered around them, and they will never die. We have achieved
I'm thinking like no,
like purely bad world. We do it.
Like we've achieved the means to sustainably live even more efficient, but we're not providing it or distributing it. It's only for the people that quote unquote deserve, because they have
that is also
money.
Yes, counting heads.
Yeah. Yep. That's counting heads. I don't even know what that is, but I'm writing it down. Like for me, I was like, oh, these rich people like yeet off the planet and then they go to try to like colonize Mars, but it ends while like the people on Earth are like, hey, holy moly, all these we can do shit. They're all like doing shit to fix the problems that like the people in power left them. And so it's like mine's is a little bit more hopeful, and also being like, huh, terrible people just suffering because they thought they can like escape their way with money, you know, bar their way into paradise.
As he was knocking over the very first domino in a massive contraption, Tojiro's fingers stretched out to the return key, shown on his mid-air display, and just touched it.
Tojiro is just the like centrist mastermind.
At the It's a Wrap public bath, Meow, Lingji, Stanislaw, and Rethabile were all sitting along the sides of the bath. It was an odd scene, where they relaxed submerged in hot water of public bath while fully clothed, but they were all very used to it by now. Each of these aces from various factions had shown interest in Meow's Order of the Public Bath, temporary name. However, they didn't need Meow to tell them his idea was most effective if Gauntlet Knights from all over the world joined. The number of people who joined would be key. They had given an extremely reasonable answer, saying that they wouldn't be able to join this risky chivalric order unless they really had a shot at making that happen. So they had no choice but to sit together around the bath. Though they acted like they were relaxing in this now familiar bathhouse, the aces from various factions tried very hard to see through to Meow's true intentions. I'd like to hear again from your lips. You are serious about this?
Yeah. Of course I'm serious. Even if no one else agrees to support us, me and my comrades intend to carry it out on.
To intentionally cause a mission to fail. Even just thinking about it leaves me speechless.
However, I do not understand the need for us to hold back. After all, we already know that a single kete of Gauntlet Knights could eliminate an entire Atlantic fleet if they so wished
That's true. The power of the gauntlet can be far too strong if used for unjust ends. It seems all of us are in agreement on this point. If one of us Gauntlet Knights get overwhelmed by the excitement and runs wild, it might result in enormous and needless damage and casualties. If that happens, forget plucking the sprout of war. We'll be sowing the seeds of war left and right.
That's right. That's why we have to swear to avoid needless casualties and actually follow
However,
through
Meow,
with it too.
isn't that something we've already sworn to do at this? It's a rap public bath.
Indeed. In the fights between Gauntlet Knights, a battle ends as soon as a shield is broken, and you must never kill your opponent. And when you do attack, you'll use the minimum necessary force to avoid needless casualties, of course. I believe we all agreed to that already, and we already carried it out the other day.
I still think we're trying to avoid needless casualties. I think it doesn't make sense for us to obey every single order to attack, no matter what it is.
Are those the words of your conscience as a human rather than a soldier?
Am I the one who got it wrong? Or, in the factions other than the AOU, are people really that accepting of what those old men say? Sure, from the bottom of their hearts, that they really want world peace.
Forgive me, but I won't comment on the matter. In the first place, soldiers aren't trained to have doubts about the orders they're given.
But aren't we guardians of the walls of peace before we're soldiers? If we obey our superiors' orders without thinking, while bearing the incredibly heavy burden of wielding gauntlets, what does that make us? We're like the point where a fuse is attached to a bomb. People with lots of fuses between them and the bomb might think that, even if they approve of war, someone else will probably stop it, and it wouldn't be their fault anyway if war broke out. They keep on spitting fire, making the fuse shorter. And now, the fuse on the bomb representing the world war is burning towards those of us who stand right at the end. Are we going to act like those who had plenty of fuses left, irresponsibly refusing to think and letting the flame reach the bomb? There's no fuse left after us. It really will explode if we don't stop it. And when it does, no one's going to blame the people standing at the far end of the fuse. It's us, the ones who directly lit the bomb at the end, who'll get blamed. Blamed? No, that part hardly matters. We'll be stuck living the rest of our lives with constant regret, knowing that we might have lived in a future where we stopped this tragic world war before it ever happened. In fact, that regret will continue on forever, even after our deaths. Can you think of any greater dishonor for those who claim to guard the walls of peace as Gauntlet Knights? Am I the one who's got it wrong? Yeah, I guess I must be wrong to suggest that soldiers should sometimes ignore their military's orders. After all, we were never taught anything like that. All the adults ever taught us was to say, "Yes, sir," and obey. And now, adults all over the world are saying we should have a war resolving problems with our neighbors using military force. They're irresponsibly getting excited and saying, "Take flight, Gauntlet Knights, and run wild on live TV just like you did during the Battle Standard Festival." Are you going to obey those orders too? Because it's a kid's job to obediently do what their parents say. Are you really saying that we bear no responsibility? That we just followed orders, so even though we pulled the trigger and loads died, none
Meow
of that
just
is
keeps
our
spitting.
fault? Truth. That's wrong, isn't it? He's like saying, like, yo, following orders is not an excuse for committing war crimes. That's not what the Guardians of the Walls of Peace look like.
They don't seem to be anti-war for any form of empathy. They seem to be doing it for principle. Remember, like, quite a few of them do care about it, but it's also the structure of this world, like, the way it's the reason for militaries, the entire reason they like exist, according to the people, is supposedly to make sure war doesn't happen, right? That's what they've been believing their entire lives, and that's what they've been told to believe. They are, like, their thinking is still constrained by that.
Yeah, and I think it's like they also generally believe that like the war World 4 would not last long, and it's like it would maybe last for like a month. Like they think it's going to be fast when it could last for years.
Also, like, surely some of them definitely do have empathy for it, right? For just like people who get injured, etc.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's framed generally more like this thing isn't for the purpose of, like, you know, what we thought it for. Like, all those social beliefs and morals, everything that we've been told, these are power structures don't actually support that. Like, the core of this is still empathy, because to believe war is wrong and to not have war, etc., is still care for other people's lives, right? That's the core conceit.
It's still like a let's not kill people. Yeah, and there's still the acknowledgement that like just because you're following orders does not excuse like the war crimes. I think is like Meow's pointing out that like following orders does not excuse you committing atrocities.
Yeah, and perhaps that'll be explored more. And
yeah.
Meow still hasn't answered the biggest question of this whole order: who gets to decide which actions are correct and which actions are incorrect?
Yeah, knowing which factions different people come from too. That's probably going to be the next
because they're going to have to
conflict.
choose which sides they sandbag and which sides they have win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm still not over how close Rithabil reminds me of the thing from Umineko.
Which thing? Oh,
Her
just
outfit.
like the almost wing-like motifs. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely an element, and it varies from character to character, like for how much it's just purely a principle thing, and how much actual empathy they have, and how much it isn't even a purely principle or empathy thing, and they just want to mess with people who they dislike and who have wronged them. Soldiers must obey orders, no matter how brutal those orders are, so they aren't responsible for what they do. No.
No. Oh wait, that's still Meow. That kind of thinking has been forbidden since the A2W era.
The leader of a certain Nazi concentration camp said something of the sort, but justice didn't spare him. On the flip side, there are some Nazis who protect the Jews and earned the title of righteous among the nations. Even Japan has Sugihara Shione, who was famous for defying the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and issuing visas for Jews. He wasn't a soldier, but he was a diplomat, a position where one is not allowed to let personal feelings stand in the way of service to the state. Despite that, he acted according to his conscience. Whoever saves one life saves the world's entire. Those are good words.
And those with more power saved more people.
And here we are standing with gauntlets, an ultimate weapon so powerful it regulated all existing military tools in the past. As people who can use those at will, with top-class abilities on a world scale, just how many people could we save?
Here you notice they're directly talking about people and saving people, right? It's arguable about how much their desire to do that, is due to principles and morals instilled by culture and a genuine desire. But that's a different sort of conversation than the wanting to do it, right?
Yeah. And I think Meow, at least for a character, seems to be pretty empathetic. Like, yeah. After all, we know some of these are also moles, so we know that these people are probably.
So,
likely
how
gonna be
many moles do you think
double-crossing.
there are among the four, essentially, leaders of this conspiracy here?
Okay, we know there's one within
There's
the
one
AOU, definitely.
There's one in each faction. So, what's your bet on how many are here right now?
I think none. I don't think. Okay, I don't want to believe Ritha Bile and Ling Ji and Meow are. I like Ritha Beale, but I think Stalin
Okay.
Salah might be a mole.
All right. You have one line left here.
Oh. How many lives are we willing to abandon?
I can't think of a way to counter that.
You're saying that becoming a conscious objector might save the world? Meow? And doesn't that contradict the A3W conception of supporting the walls of peace with a healthy military
perhaps
balance?
like going at all and going for a strong military, and that doesn't actually lead to peace. Huh.
Yeah. What if Meow? Oh, I'm thinking of that like. Oh, I was gonna think of like the ego meme where it's all like, oh yeah, well then isn't the walls of peace part of a strong healthy military is part of the wall of peace? And then Meow's like, no, and then it's the whole like being
okay.
mind wiped from Yugi. No. When fighting battles to like the sprouts of war, we'll do our jobs well and thoroughly, though we'll avoid unneeded casualties. However, when we follow strategies that step over peace or try to bring our opponents down, we'll coincidentally make mistakes and errors, and the mission will fail somehow. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if we don't handle that part cleverly, it'll be a huge mess. I'm impressed by the idea, but how do we decide if a mission counts as blocking the sprouts of war or not? The most important question. Who makes that decision?
Balance Law coming here with the big and important
How
facts.
do we know there are no ulterior motives involved? I have all sorts of questions about it.
I'm truly glad you said that, Stan, as it's everyone I wanted to say
No.
too. That's the issue, Meow. What? Will it be a mission that plucks sprouts of war or a mission that becomes one? Who will decide and what standard will they use? Unless that is clearly spelled out, I certainly cannot agree to join.
All the contested areas had various circumstances surrounding them. People from involved countries would probably all be influenced by personal motivations, and yet no one was likely to accept the judgment of an unrelated person who didn't know the circumstances. There was no way they'd be able to decide which missions were okay and which weren't with a simple set of simple rules.
There's no way I could decide. I'm not
And
a
not like
politician
they
or
can
a
decide
diplomat.
either.
So I'm not even old enough to vote.
You think people still vote?
I
like
know, right?
how rigged do you think these elections are?
Oh, 100% rigged. Like, it's the illusion of choice at this point. This is like I said, this is like a Brave New World situation. Choice is an illusion.
The child of the president just gets handed the twin katanas of Democrat and Republican.
Oh God! No, my boy, he just needs a break. Well, the book says, "Who watches the Watchmen?" Even.
Well, that does imply that chivalric order you're proposing is nothing more than a pretty picture.
So, just like those people Stan talked about just now, who disobeyed their orders and made justice happen on their own, we should be personally faithful to the justice we each believe in.
You can't make something happen without believing in anything, right?
Yeah.
Are you saying we should each decide individually?
True, it wouldn't be fair otherwise.
What do you mean by that?
If we left our decisions about sprouts of war to Meow, the first person who spoke up, then we would still be the fuse and the bomb, irresponsibly obeying his orders.
True. You're right. Just doing what you're ordered isn't justice. That only makes you a person who accepted an order. That's just doing your job, not an act of justice worthy of praise. Perhaps such a person doesn't have a right to call themselves a guardian of the walls of peace.
Finally, Meow's inserting the idea of you should think for yourself and question your orders, when to follow and when to not follow them. Depending on how you take it, I might sound like I'm being irresponsible, just telling everyone to decide for themselves. Still, I think having all of us carry out justice on our own is the key point of this order.
I do believe Mao is testing us.
Okay, so Meow's just making a co-op unit.
Yes. Huh.
What could a co-op that still has not have a solid policy nor a solid understanding of like the structure
not at all.
of like what is the walls of peace, and potentially the fact that the walls of peace is no doubt a flawed concept of like pacifism. What could possibly go wrong?
Meow's directly going against it because like having a military that chooses to fail is not a healthy military balance in the way they've described it, right? It is not a strong military that acts as a deterrent against other nations, right? And so, even as Meow like desperately tries to justify it, he's going against like the paradigm what the world's thinking right now. It no longer fits.
Yeah, he's like, hey yo, empathy and compassion's in, yo. Comes in with his kickflips and
yeah, most co-ops kind of don't know how to structure, but who knows? Like Future Club looks pretty good right now. They might make some.
Yeah, I've also seen the not just Future Club, but also the Glorious Society, which is the people who they're doing pretty.
Anyway,
good. Yeah, but I think it's also just helps where it's like when the co-op is small, it's easier to maintain versus if the co-op gets really big.
It's because you naturally need some sort of structure in like getting people to work together properly, especially as groups get bigger, right? But it's hard to do that or delegate that with people being fair and thing, right? So it's like the more decentralized it is, the better. But that also means there's no overlying structure to do bigger things without like getting everything to work together perfectly, like if people on exactly the same page.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've been in enough anarchist like group meetings where we all had to like agree. It took like it took almost half an hour to agree on something just so we can finally be like, all right, well, this is what we're calling ourselves, and this is what we agreed on. And then somebody walks in and we're like, God damn it, we got it.
While a completely authoritarian dictator can just be like, yeah, we're doing this now.
Yep.
No choice. Indeed, it would seem our consciousness are being put to the test.
Even if we can't get everyone's approval, I'm going to start doing it. I'll take the first step. I don't mind if you hold off on deciding until you've seen that.
That sounds fair. Understood.
How heavy these left arms of ours are. To think that our common sense as soldiers, as human beings, would be tested to this extent.
The possibility that we'll be given orders that don't support the world's peace is something I don't even want to think about. However, though I may have feared the coming of such a day, I never tried to think a way around it. In the end, as a soldier, I would have probably quietly and irresponsibly carried out my orders.
I was trained as a soldier too, so even thinking about twisting my orders and missions for something like my own sense of justice is scary. It makes my teeth chatter. Still, I think the real courage Guardians of the Walls of Peace need to have. We aren't pillars or sticks holding up the wall. We're the strongest warriors of peace, the Ariel Augmented Infantry, the Gauntlet Knights.
For a while, the three others than Meow were struck speechless. Even though they had understood in their souls, they had been blinded by the soldiers' devotion to following out orders, which had been ingrained into their bodies. However, anyone can act for the sake of justice, and at any time, as long as they choose to do so. And the stronger these people are, the more people they can save. Why were they hesitating when they had been given more power to save people than anyone else in the world? Suddenly, Ling Ji leapt to her feet. We are all comrades supporting the walls of peace together. Our job isn't to oppose each other and kill each other, is it? I agree. I'm even embarrassed that I thought that's what we were until a second ago. Stanislaw rarely let his emotions show on his face, but he seemed to be smiling slightly. We're comrades. We already were even before Miao invited us to the public bath and made us swear to. Even before he invited us to chivalric order for the sake of protecting peace together.
Precisely. In that case, the time is of the essence. I think I'll speak with Gauntlet Knights from the ACR, seeing whether they can agree to Meow's
Please
philosophy.
do be careful.
But of course, even in the royal family, princes and princesses can be harsh when it comes to tearing each other down. I won't embarrass myself by needlessly exposing a weakness. Leave it to me.
Breath of bile. Thanks, I'm so grateful.
I ought to be the one saying that. I thank you for trusting me with a proposal that must have taken the true courage to
Yeah,
review.
I'll also try telling the COU friends I can trust about what you've said.
Thank you too, Lingji. That's incredibly reassuring to hear.
I'll also try to quietly recruit members for Meow's Order of the Public Bath, temporary name. However, I ask that you keep your hopes in check. I am still a man of the world who values his own life. The ABN was famous for its strict thought policing. If it got out that you intend to display the establishment or the military, you wouldn't be let off easily. Of course, that also applied to the factions of everyone else here.
I understand. If it looks dicey, there's absolutely no need to overdo it. Just the fact that you listened to me and showed your agreement is a huge help.
I just wanted to keep expectations low to start. I'm sure that at least the other two members of Thoughts Youth will agree right away.
Thanks, Stan. I'm sorry for thinking you were a cold person who might not
Don't
listen
let
to
that
us.
worry you. After all, the Grandmaster Gunhild of the Order of Blood Vomiting Death Vows gave me strict orders to listen to what you had to say.
I never expected that Gunhild Chivalric Order would
Because
end up
Gunhild's
helping
Chivalric Order
me.
isn't a real one, it's just a place for people to hang out and talk about death metal.
Probably. That's adorable, though. I
Does
love
this
it.
mean we should start calling Meow Grandmaster from now on?
Please, no, it's embarrassing. You can just call me Meow like before.
The Meow, I really do think our meeting was an incredibly important thing for me. I get the feeling that, on the day we met at the public bath, we took our first steps towards a brilliant future.
Thanks for seriously listening and thinking over the crazy stuff I had to say. I'm also grateful to all of you.
We'll be closely watching what our temporary name, Order's Grand Master, does going forward, Meow.
Of course! If I bring this up and then get scared and do whatever those damn geezers say, this whole thing would be ridiculous.
Sadly, we live in a world where it's likely you'll have a chance to prove yourself soon.
However, Meow, there is one thing I would like to settle right away.
Yes, indeed. I have an urgent request for you too, Grandmaster Meow. Do you
yeah,
get it,
I
Jupiter?
get it.
What do you think the question is?
Oh,
No,
I'm just
but
reading
do
the
you?
line. No. The Order of the Public Math temporary name isn't going to cut it, right?
You think so? I don't dislike it since it immediately reminds you that it's rap public bath belongs together.
Well, really should do something to honor its creator here. How about Grandmaster Meow's Memorial Genius Long Live Land in 2009?
1211.
The Order of the Heavenly / Bloody Death Crazy Clash.
Oh,
Stanislaw could name some Guilty Gear stuff. Yes, that's not bad.
Oh god.
I think best to simply keep it the order of the public lust. Oh yeah, the typo translation error. Lingji, you got the kanji
God.
wrong.
You got the kanji wrong. That would be bad.
Why does Japanese make no sense? Why did the ancient Japanese decide to start perverting the Chinese language?
You'll have to take that up with the ancient Japanese, not me.
Valentina and Mari Carmen have entered the room, Poyo.
Sorry we're late,
Oh,
everyone.
Tina put it into rap public lust again and got a bunch of errors. You're way too lusty.
Maybe we really should just change the name to It's a Rap Public Lust.
See, Japanese is tough. I have been proven correct.
How about the Order of Meow's long-lived public bath of great justice?
How about the order of hell, murder, bloody splash, fearsome gut eaters?
Oh my god.
Look at this edgy boy.
I'm liking
Look at this-
Stalin Slaw as the metalhead
Yeah.
boy, but like I'm not gonna be
He,
surprised
no,
if he's
because
the mole.
he's super serious in like everything he does. Because like, you know, when he was giving advice to Meow and Jaden, when they had their whole like plural gender issue stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like he gave all the correct advice. He's just super serious. Japanese words really are difficult. I can't find a single cool one to use.
Maybe it really should be best to keep the order of lust. Oh crap, even I inputted it wrong.
There, you see that?
Even a Japanese person like Meow admits that Yokojo and Yokujo are confusing.
You're talking about lust in a public bath, right? That's shameless, perverted. More importantly, Meow, please tell us what this is all about. Because the energetic Abyss sisters from Leto showed up late, they were stuck having the same conversation the second time. How did they listen seriously and agreed with the Order's aims? After all, the members of the IPMA, they were hardly in conflict with the sort of shit-lurk order Meow had envisioned. However, they decided they would show their personal justice to the IPMA itself. In other words, they had agreed with the goals of the Order of Public Path. They didn't join it. However, they seemed to be very intent on being added as observers.
We have no doubts that Lato and the IPM service as a source of official justice. But still, that doesn't mean that we're baselessly and absolutely sure
Yes,
we'll
yes,
remain
the
way forever.
UN and the global hegemony of American culture surely knows true justice. If there are ever only
Yep.
one group defending justice, no one will be able to make sure it doesn't go out of control. So we intend to watch over you from our current position to see if you're really able to dedicate yourselves to peace.
And I'm sure your chivalric order intends to watch over us, to see if we can remain a source of impartial justice, right? After all, you rose up because you didn't want to blindly accept everything those old people justice.
Leda was a very prosperous and powerful group of countries, and they had superior relationships with all the other factions. So it was generally believed that there was no need for them to take a faction's side, and they could maintain a neutral position. However, anyone who said to that blindly would just be acting the part of an irresponsible fuse again.
I wonder what happened to Switzerland then. If they're not the arbiters.
Yeah,
of
where do you think,
neutrality.
which faction do you think Switzerland is with?
What would they be part of? I don't know. I don't know.
No,
my
because
geography
they're
enough.
all over the place because they're not necessarily even geography, right?
Oh.
Depends.
I would think
They are kind of like a lot of the
geography
ABN is geographically connected, right? Because a lot of Middle East and Europe is part of the ABN, but they have places all over the way. Like for example, the AOU has America, Canada, Sweden, Japan, and
like-
Russia. Finland as well.
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh, they don't even have Switzerland in that one either. Maybe they're part of maybe they are.
Constantly check what justice is using your own conscience, and make sure you have a sword hidden in your heart. That way, if you see someone turning their back on peace, you can stand up to them, even if it's on your own. That was the order of the public bath. That's why we won't join. We need you to inspect our sense of justice.
And as time goes on, we'll be constantly expecting yours. And if we judge that the justice you promote clearly differs from the justice promoted by the APMA, expect it to be dealt with accordingly. In other words, you two want to be external observers of our order.
That's right.
Judging what is or isn't a sprout of war is extremely difficult. Perhaps sometimes it will be valuable to have the opinion of those who look down impartially on all faction.
Right. After all, there's nothing more dangerous than a selfish sense of justice gone
To
wild.
prevent that from happening, there's a lot I would like to learn from these two from the later going forward. But
Sure. I was
can I
gonna say
just say I
whatever
really
you
love
want.
Lingji's outfit.
I do love her outfit too. Lingji's outfits. I think Lingji's like my favorite design character, second to
Yeah,
Koshika.
I think that's probably my exact opinion too. I also like Jaden's shirt a lot, but yeah. It really seems that something
Jaden's
truly
striped
interesting is
shirt.
about to happen.
This isn't about what's about to happen. You got to think of it this way. We're gonna make it happen.
Then let us proclaim the formation of Matakamiao's chivalric order. The order's grandmaster was its
While
creator,
serving as the leader
Miao.
of the whole group, he was also in charge of the members of the AOU. In addition, he was its spiritual leader who made the order's philosophy clear and understandable to its members, guiding them.
That Grandmaster stuff is seriously embarrassing. Just please call me Meow like normal.
The leaders of the branches or masters were Lingxi, Rethabil, and Stanislav. They recruit and manage members from the COU, ACR, and ABN respectively. In actual combat, it would be up to the masters in the scene to decide which actions would be most in line with the Order's philosophy. The weight of that responsibility was neither lesser nor greater than Meow's. Valentina, Maricon, and Leda would be external observers. Members of the IPM, they would presumably watch over them, making sure Order's justice didn't head off in the wrong direction. So, that makes 6 of us, yes? I wonder if we could find one more.
Why do we need one more?
Well, for things like this, wouldn't it be cooler to have 7 people together?
I see. Lucky 7, isn't it? We already have 1 from each faction. Having 2 from a single faction would be unbalanced.
I love how they all don't think of Lado as enough of a faction, even though it is, but it just has such global control
Yeah.
and such like a place in culture and like such a hegemony, right? That they don't even think twice. Maybe we should recruit another external observer from
Yeah.
Leda? I can't really think of another kid I could trust enough to let in on something like this.
Well, I guess I'll give up on it. I didn't think it'd be cool to have. I did think it'd be cool to have 7 knights. Give
Don't
me
you
a
forget
moment.
me, Poyo! The truest member, the truest knight.
Okay, sorry, my dog was like trying to play with me and bite my
Nah,
hand,
literally
so
no
I'm just like,
problem. Unless your hand
Yeah.
got actually bitten. Is it okay?
Oh yeah, no, she knows how to
Ah,
play bite,
okay.
so like she knows not to bite really hard. So it's like play biting, but like it's not good to teach her to like think she can like go up to people's
Yeah.
hands and like play bite with them. Huh? Keroporo? Oyo?
How can you refuse to acknowledge me as your comrade even though I provide you with a pleasant room, manage your logs, and perform maintenance, and even handle translation and searches for you? Sob, kira, 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 kira. In that case, maybe you can be our secretary? I see. True enough, the role of secretary really does suit him. Without Kirpoya, even just going back through our logs would be time-consuming.
Interesting. Having one person, now one amphibian on our team would make this much more interesting.
I get the feeling we'll have even snakes and slugs join us before too long. Is he referring to the moles?
I make the
Okay,
means of
okay.
protection here. All men simp for me. Poyo.
Oh no. Oh god. Okay, you're in, get up, boyo. I appoint you as the Order of the Public Bath temporary name Secretary.
Nice. I guess it makes you the second frog in the world to call himself a knight. That's so cool.
What do you mean?
She's referencing Chrono Trigger, I think.
Has there ever
Yeah.
been another frog? Oh, they are. After this, I should talk to Mari Carmian about setting up an order of PG level.
In that case, Kirpoya, would you care to propose a set of furnishings for Meow's Order's virtual room?
That's a good point. The It's a Wrap Public Bath and the Order of the Public Bath are two completely different
Oscar, you calling
organizations.
me a nerd isn't going to do anything. I accept it. I suck.
To make it easier for switching between the two, we ought to use suitable furnishings for when we're in the
I suppose
order.
that means we should furnish it in a way that matches its name. How would it look if it was the Order of Hell's bloody heaven of madness and death? He's been working shopping this.
They're like, okay, we will let you design the shirts for our order, but we get to pick the name. He's like, yes, and he tries to make like a death metal band
No,
shirt.
no one can
but for-
read it, so no one will even realize. Because it's a death metal logo.
Indeed.
Also, can we just talk
Exactly.
about Hell's bloody heaven of madness and death?
This is from a guy who's from like a religious order, from like a religious military order too. Okay, get it, boyo. We'll be the Order of the Public Bath, and for the time being, so find us a wallpaper
Roger
that
that,
fits with
boyo.
that.
Now doing an image search for public bath and lust, Poyo. Poyo, Poyo, Poyo.
No, and then like, no, wait, hold on a sec. Everyone, close.
Everyone close their eyes except for Rethabeel.
Oh god.
Breaking news: school bus destroyed in South African terrorist bombing. 8 children dead. Family in tears. Breaking news: child seriously wounded in ABN Italy terrorist attack. Died before dawn. A girl with a lovely smile. Mother weeps through interview. Breaking news: terrorist bombing in AU Russia. Several elementary schools among victims. Authorities announcing the culprits had foreign support. Breaking news: fishing boat fired upon in CU Madagascar. President voiced to tear-filled survivors to resolve situation and make culprits pay. Several hundreds likely victimized by terrorist gas attack. A visiting ACR prince swore to take blood revenge. AU ambassador shot and grievously injured. Public sports of imprisonment of suspect. Tens of thousands joined demonstration for his release. Breaking news: authorities claim ABN guidance department operatives secretly involved. President threatens retribution if no apology offered. CAU says they'll swing the sword of peace tomorrow if needed, such as suggest preemptive strike, and ceasing hate crimes against resident AU dissent. Pregnant woman beaten to death in broad daylight. No one reported incident to police. Brutally murdered bodies of 5 children missing in the ACR are found. Family interviews up next. Breaking news: demonstrators run wild across the COU to set fire to the houses of our countrymen. Possibly a manufactured demonstration as the police did nothing. Another mass shooting of an ABN religious facility. Is the populace cheering on the fleeing culprits and end this climate of hatred? Breaking news: has Lado intervention failed? High Lado official cuts stay short and force means to punish by military means. We'll deal with the merciless strike like to all who love peace now. It's time here. ACR Commonwealth King declares address to people. Will he declare war? Yeah. And tourist citizens rise up. Punitive embargo counter with tariffs. Prime Minister makes an outrageous claim. He said if anything he doesn't like it, he's ready for war. The assembly hall was filled with applause. Now it's the time to protect the walls of peace. Nearby countries return to force must be punished with military means. Now it's time to contribute to your country. It's easy with a one-click Patriot bond. They're deporting descendants of other factions and locking them up if they refuse. The IPMA mediation fails again. Are they now completely ineffective? This is a holy war and we are prepared for battle. We'll immerse this strike, the like of which the world has never seen before. To all who love peace, now it's time to grab your guns and prove it. Let the drones fight. Let the soldiers do their jobs. I'll be showing you this live message board. The Aesir Commonwealth King prepares to address his people. Will he declare war? The Abian Leadership Council gives 24-hour combat readiness orders. It seems the sword of peace will finally be unsheathed. The CU is prepared to resolve the situation with preemptive strikes. The statement issued by the Speaker of AAU Joint Parliament. To carry out his duties as movers of world peace, the AAU will preemptively exercise the right to self-defense. Patter, 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 patter. The 17th Air Augmented Infantry Squad. You've been sent to Level 1 Emergency Deployment Order. This is not a drill. Slam. So yeah.
Oh dear. I think I have to end it short
This
now.
is
I
where
think it's a
we're
good
gonna
time
end
to
it. I
end
just
here.
want to talk
Like,
about it and then like call it. Yeah.
yeah.
So there's still one big issue they haven't accounted for.
What is
What
it?
happens if they have to fight each other and both of them think they're correct?
Oh goodness. That is definitely
What
a
if they
situation
can't decide?
that is no
who's
doubt gonna happen in this arc.
Also, that's a lot of fake stuff that Tojiro got going. And how much of it is real though? Because
It's so wild.
even with all those resources, a lot of that has to be real.
Yeah, probably.
So, any thoughts before we just wrap up and say bye?
It's going really good. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah,
This is a good VN. I enjoy the commentary. It's fun. This is an interesting like world and story.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite VNs. It's not done yet, so I haven't put it there, but it might be gunning for like top 1, and if not, it's like still like top 3, probably. Okay. So thanks for being here, Jupiter. Thanks everyone for watching. Also, now I am a VTuber, and I will only grow more popular for here. Just need to get some viral clips to to boost my big huge popularity.
I like your VTuber VSono.
She does not,
she have
because
a name?
this is just a default one from the workshop I got. So it's a generic. It's generic Diet Cola VTuber. So I got nothing. One day,
I'm very tempted to help design you one, but it's okay.
The thing is,
I'm not that
a proper like
2D
rig and everything. It's like it can go into the thousands. It's silly. It's a lot of work. I can
imagine.
Genghis Khan uniting the Huns here.
Oh goodness.
The Huns aren't quite that exact group though, but yeah. Anyway, thank you, Jupiter, for being here. Thank you. I think we'll cut off the stream. I'm just gonna check if there's anyone I want to raid like right now, just to be like, oh, we should. And I guess Wife City Gaming, we will raid them because they are here and they are doing stuff.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think this is some of the best commentary we've done so far.
It's good. We went to some nice places. We're like
anyway,
fan fiction.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.